Welcome in here, everybody. Thank you for coming in. An early show here on a Tuesday and a mega stream. Got a lot to go over here tonight. As you come through the door, please hit that like. Please share this out. All of those things help us out here in the algorithm on YouTube. I just shared this out on X on Twitter as well. Please repost that. I'd really appreciate it. Getting ready to come at you guys. Let's go.
Let's rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in here on a Tuesday night, on a Twisted Tuesday here with Publicly Buzz Live. Appreciate everyone for coming in here. We have a lot to go over tonight. I'm calling this a mega stream because I don't know how long this is going to go. Tonight, I was originally just planning to do and go over the prep work for the trial. Just kind of get, basically, today, right now, we're about to go from beginning to current possible ending. As of today, at least in, the opening started, we actually had a couple of witnesses come up. We are in the trial right now. I thought it was going to be openings in the morning. They got the ball rolling. The jury was selected. And yes, so we are going to be going over a lot of stuff. We're going to start out the gate early on. Let me see who all's in here. First of all, appreciate everyone for coming through here. Guys, please share this out and let people know that you're hanging out with Publicly Buzz tonight. Again, we're going deep into Brice Rhodes, aka rapper named Rambo. We're going to watch a little rap videos. We got 2 rap videos, real-time reaction of this motherfucker rapping. Insane details of this case. Again, what has prompted me, shout out to Holly Berry. Let me go ahead and do a little music for her real quick. When she posted this, I dove completely deep into this one. It's wild. What caught me off the guard was the shock cuff. This dude could end up wearing a shock cuff if he acts out during the current trial that we're preparing you for right now. Thank you very much, Viv. Yeah, I trimmed up just a little bit. Try to get it, starting to just get a little weird at the bottom, wasn't it? But yeah, this thing is wild as shit. As I go through this out the gate, I won't be looking at the chat right off, guys, because it's a lot to go over, quite frankly. If you guys do any supers or if there's any memberships that come through, I will look at that when I get a break or if we start talking in the middle, maybe before we get into the trial, because we're watching the openings today too. I just don't want to throw the flow off here. But it's a lot. It's so much. A triple murder trial of Brice Jamar Rhodes. I know you guys have seen this stuff by now. I've been posting it all over Twitter, all over Facebook, and YouTube. Charged with the murders of Christopher R. Jones. Chris Jones right here. I had a picture of Mr. Jones. This was the initial person that he killed. And sadly, he had the 2 teens that I'm about to get into right now, Larry Ordway and Maurice Gordon. Sadly, they were with him in the car when Rambo gunned down Christopher Jones. Now, he thought he was killing somebody that had a hit out on him, right? That he had some money over his head. No, this guy, Brice Rhodes, has been a screw up his entire life. I've got even a little bit past history. The earliest thing that I found, actually, that I'm going to get into is an armed robbery from 2009 when he was 18 years old. Okay, tons of legal issues with this guy. But unfortunately, Christopher Jones was outside and ran into this guy. They were driving by, and he said, "Oh, this is the guy that has a hit out on him. We're going to take him out." So guns this man down, again, with the 2 teens. that is one of the saddest parts of this entire story. Larry Ordway and Maurice Gordon were with him when this happened. Here is Maurice, and then here's Larry. If anybody has seen the clips of the grandma of these kids, it's a lot. She is pissed off because it's been nearly, we're coming up on 7.5, 8 years since 2016, 7 and some years. There's no justice at all so far. So I saw her walking into the courtroom today. Also saw Brice Rhodes staring her down. I posted a picture, posted that, and actually called out a bunch of names on Twitter. Absolutely insane. Same scene, quite frankly, seeing her walk in, and you see the prosecutor kind of getting her to her seat. Everything just kind of stopped in its tracks when she came in, as it probably should, with all respect to that grandma. But then Brice is just lurking in the background, staring her down. Rhodes is charged with the murder of all three of these individuals, abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, harassment, several counts of assault, and a probation violation. Christopher Jones was killed on May 4th of 2016. And when the time of, and I saw this in trial a little bit earlier, at the initial call when the police arrive and EMTs arrive, he is still with us. He was non-responsive, but he didn't die immediately. He actually passed away later at the hospital, unfortunately. And then out the gate, before these two teenage boys, 14 and 16, Maurice and Larry, were identified, they didn't know who these kids was. Okay, there's one weird part of this story. The mother, there's scenes of the mother freaking out. I know you guys have seen the clip of the mother, Brice blowing the kiss to her, right, and her freaking out in court, of course. But there's a couple of different articles that I found that show a couple of different things. One, her basically saying when they left that night, when these two teens left, they were saying, "I love you. We'll be back soon." You have another flip side of her saying she didn't know where they were. She also didn't report them missing initially. The initial sketch of the kids before they were actually identified is right here. And then to go to the beginning here, an article I wanted to bring up here from May 23rd, 2016, when this was first starting to catch a little bit of steam here. Again, thank you guys, everyone, for being here. A lot to cover. Get this correct here. I think I've got this right. Police investigate double homicide case in Louisville. Again, May 23rd, 2016. Police are conducting a double homicide investigation following the deaths of two men in Louisville. Louisville Metro Police Department spokesman Dwight Mitchell tells news outlets that the two men were found dead Sunday afternoon in an alley. Louisville Metro Fire Department Arson Division was also on the scene to investigate. Mitchell says police suspect foul play was involved. Police did not release any additional details at this point in time. So a key, inside of that article, out the gate, what did you notice there? If you would have been just now entering this without knowing a lot of the details. Arson. Fire Department's Arson Division was on scene, and that is because the bodies of these two teenage boys were burned, okay? They were mutilated and burned. So after the initial murder of Christopher Jones, and again, the witnesses being these two teens, the heat started coming up a little bit with the police, and Brice started getting a little bit freaked out. So he figures he needs to do something about this, right? They bring the two teen boys, Larry and Maurice, back to his apartment, and they're not the only ones there either. There's a bunch of individuals involved in this, and I'll pop this up right here. Gives you a little bit of some of the individuals here. Pull that out here too. Rhodes at the top there. Taryn Coleman, JaCoy Taylor, Anjuan Carter, and then at the bottom, the victims that I've already been naming here. Anjuan and JaCoy are at the apartment as well when this happens. Get these two teens one by one, put one in the bathroom, have one outside, and they get him down on his knees and begin to tell him to beg for his life. They put a toboggan over his head, over each of their heads, and they stab them separately to death. Brice Rhodes implements two other teenagers. Again, he has a gang of teens. We'll get a little bit deeper into that as well. Anjuan Carter, Jacoy Taylor, makes them stab as well. Get a couple of stabs in, so they are now completely involved and accomplices. Then you have this individual who was not arrested for some time later, Tyrion Coleman, who also helped get rid of the bodies. It's insane. It's a really horrible situation. But again, that initial thing, when you see fire department's arson division, like, what's going on here? They take these bodies out into, I think it was behind a house, actually. I know it said alley there. I think the alley was probably next to the house, but behind the house is where this actually happened, and burned these boys. We see right here, police seek killer after body found, and again, arson team involved. Let me just pull this article up, make sure this is the correct one that I have ready to go. This is May 23rd, 2016. No arrests have been made in connection with the deaths of 2 teenage boys in West Louisville. The victims' bodies were found Sunday afternoon in an abandoned lot on River Park Drive near 40th Street. Neighbors said the boys' bodies were surrounded by burned grass. The Louisville Fire Department's arson team is helping in the investigation. I just wish that it would get better. It's not even really summer yet, and it's insane out here, neighbor Devin Beckham said. It's a normal thing. Again, this is from 2016. But to see the CSI truck, I knew it was something a little bit more serious than just 2 people being shot. Police aren't saying how the 2 died, but a woman who saw the bodies said it was clear that foul play was involved. Autopsies are being performed. Again, this is so early in the initial investigation that they do not have a suspect yet. Again, they were showing that sketch. The Larry and Maurice had not even been identified as of yet either. The one extremely sad part of this, the bodies were actually found by a little girl riding on her bicycle. Found that earlier today. One second, I got the next one up here. And then, finally, we do get an arrest from an individual by the name of Rambo. Brice Rhodes, okay? Wannabe rapper Brice Rhodes. What do we have here? May 26, 2016, 2 teens, again, early in the story, found dead in the Shawnee neighborhood. They were brothers. Larry Ordway, 14, Maurice Gordon, 16, died of multiple blunt force injuries, again, being stabbed to death. Police charged Brice Rhodes, 26th, with the boys' slangs, and arrested a juvenile in connection to the case as well. I'm not going to play this entire video, but this is the initial press conference here. Get the sound here. Get this one.
Yes. Keep in mind, the coroner does the official notifications. So, like I said, Rita Taylor's the coroner, and she will release the official notifications. But this case was unusual in the fact that the mother kind of got out in front of us and released that information. But yes, that, you know.
So you all can't confirm that those are the 2 victims?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, 14 and 16 years old?
14, 16.
Okay.
3 counts or 3 charges of murder. What is the third?
We had the 2 murders from the young kids, and then there's another incident that happened on 41st Street. It's another murder that he's being charged with. So two separate incidents, 3 victims, 2 separate incidents.
When did that homicide happen?
You know, I don't have the exact date. Recently,
Okay.
I'll get back with you on that.
May 4th.
Is that, you got it, Dwayne?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We're hearing on the streets the boys were killed because they witnessed the May 4th murder. Can you confirm?
Well, we can't confirm that. That's certainly something that we're looking at. There's a couple of different motives that we're looking at, and like I said at the beginning, there's certain pieces of information that we're not going to release at this point. Motive being one of them. I'm not going to rule that out, and I think there's plenty of, you guys have heard plenty of stuff through social media, anything that would suggest that's a viable option, but we still have to go through the whole process, and we're not focused strictly on that. There are other things that we're looking at.
Are you able to discuss why the arson unit was involved and on the scene on Sunday?
And I think it's pretty self-explanatory. There's a lot of information, and you all went to the scene, so there was an attempt to burn the bodies.
Did that occur there, do you believe, or were the bodies dumped there?
No, we believe the murder occurred at a different location and that they were dumped there.
And that different location being Brice Rhodes' apartment. At least at this point in time, they do have somebody in custody. Again, the bodies of Maurice and Larry, this early stage being found in May of 2016. Same, pretty quick succession of getting him caught. I think it was half a month, essentially, maybe even a little less. Homicide detectives said the two brothers went to school, recognized somebody at the school actually recognized one of the sketches, and that is who, even though the mother had already been saying, "This is my kids," there's a little bit of confusion there with the mother in some of the articles that I've read. But initially, they're saying that someone from the school is who said, "Hey, this is the teens, and this is who they're identifying, how they're identifying them." Detective said he was stabbed. He stabbed the two brothers at his home and dumped their bodies in a vacant lot. Police, again, just to show you this right here also. So even before we get to this part, okay, already had a history. Armed robbery, criminal confinement, okay, domestic assault, felony intimidation. He's been in and out of prison as well. Clark County prosecutor Jeremy Mole said, and this is a quote, "Yes, I am very familiar with Brice Rhodes. I did send him away 6 years on the robbery charges some years ago." So he had done 6 years from like the age of 18, okay? He was released, put on probation, violated that probation, and was sent back on multiple occasions. A violent offender. He's been put on probation. He's been given all the resources of the taxpayers to turn his life around if he wanted to do that. Unfortunately, he just continues to occur new crimes. And I want to pull this article up. This is from 2009, guys. Okay, this is deep. May. This guy likes to commit crimes in May. May of 2009 here. Teens charged in armed robbery in Clark County. 2 teenagers charged with robbing a group of basketball players at gunpoint outside the Jeffersonville Boys and Girls Club on April 24th. Tyler C. Kane, 19, and Brice Rambo Rhodes. There's our guy. There's Rambo. Are charged with 4 counts of Class B felony and armed robbery and 1 count of Class B felony criminal confinement. An employee from the Boys and Girls Club in Louisville told police that he brought his basketball team to the Jeffersonville facility to compete in a basketball tournament, according to the probable cause affidavit. He said 4 members of the team were sitting on a bench outside of the Jeffersonville club when they were robbed at approximately 9 p.m. Okay, it's just sitting there, ready to play a ball game, and here comes these thugs up. The victims said that a group of approximately 8 or 10 males arrived and confronted the victims. I'd imagine that, was he already dealing with younger kids then? He always wanted to be surrounded by teenage boys. One thing that I saw, too, that goes back to the mother was friends with Brice Rhodes, okay? She knew that her sons were hanging out with this guy. Also, like, she's not exactly looked at in the best light in this. And I'm not going to put any shade on her because I can't even imagine what she's going through. But at the end of the day, I mean, you have to have some kind of control over your kids. 14 and 16 are still very easily manipulated. And so are the kids that are also charged elsewhere in this. Okay, Carter, who was, I think, 15 at the time. Very easy to manipulate these young children. Let's just say it, kids. Okay. And I'm not above like violent offenders being that young, being treated as an adult, but let's also look at why they're there and what's happening in this neighborhood and in this scene, in this clique to want to be fitting in and to being this gang member or whatever he's pushing here. Again, I'll show you the rap videos. It's easy to manipulate young kids. 2 victims said the juvenile handed the gun to Rhodes and that Rhodes held the gun to the head of one of the victims while Kane searched the victims and took their property. The juvenile with the gun was later identified and arrested, but his name is not being released because of his age. The victims identified Rhodes and Kane in a photo lineup presented by officers from the Jefferson Police Department. The alleged robbers stole $45. Okay, $45 in cash and 2 cell phones from the 4 teenagers, according to the charging information from the court. The criminal confinement charge is due to one of the victims being held at gunpoint but not being robbed. So that's where the confinement charge comes from right there. Kane and Rhodes are being held in corrections complex. So, he initially out the gate, this dude has been a bad man. Okay, let's just look at a rap lyric here. Okay, I can't even say this. Kidnapper, because he came up short. Okay, he's in both songs we're going to listen to, he's brazenly talking about murdering people, kidnapping people. Okay, that's not unusual, I guess, in rap songs or lyrics, but also this dude's actually acting out said acts. I do have something here from the mother. Again, I think I have a picture here. Elizabeth Warren. Put the wrong name on there. Fix that real quick. Boop. Mother of slain teens offers her version of motives of her son's deaths. So there's also multiple there's multiple outlooks that of these kids as well. And it's true. One of them was an honor roll student and one of them was starting to decline. You know, I guess they were getting a little bit deeper into this gang type of affiliation that was going on, if you want to call it that. You know, there's pictures of these kids that look like, you know, normal teenage boys. And then there's pictures like the ones you're looking at right now, where they look like they're part of a gang. Murder, tampering with evidence, and abuse of a corpse. The man charged with the gruesome killings of 2 Louisville teens, Brice Rhodes, pleaded not guilty. And this is 2016, guys. So long. Initially, at this point, he was at $1 million for bond. I think that ended up getting raised, especially as even after he was arrested, endless infractions. Violent offender that never stopped offending, even after the arrest, in prison, no matter who he's talking to, okay? Whether that's the judge, whether that's the defense attorneys, we'll get there. Stick with me. The teen's mother, Elizabeth Mary Warren, that confused me earlier. I was like, what's this lady's name? But it is both. She said she knew Rhodes, right? Knew her kids were hanging out with him. She said he was trying to recruit them to do his dirty work, and when the boys realized how dangerous of a guy he was, that's when she said they were killed. Well, that's not exactly what happened. Unfortunately, they witnessed a murder and were still willing to go to his apartment even after that. You know, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that they deserve to die at all. That's insanity. But at the end of the day, you know, and this can go back to the mother, right? Because what was I saying earlier? The manipulation of children at this point, teens, this young, is still very easily for someone in the position of Rhodes, right? He's got the cool factor, or whatever you want to call it. I don't see that whatsoever, but you hear what I'm saying. Social media images show 2 sides of the slain teens, now identified as Larry Ordway, 14, and Maurice Gordon, 16. This is about Reese and Larry resting in peace. They were brutally beaten. Do y'all understand that? Police said Rhodes stabbed the teens and then burned their bodies. There are pieces of information that we are not going to release at this point. Now, that was the scene we were just looking at there. Todd Kessinger talking to the media. It was all detectives on deck to make an arrest, weeding through a slew of rumors. They did outstanding work, some of the best work I've seen. The teen's mother said her sons witnessed a murder Rhodes committed and told her they were scared. That's interesting. Okay. I ain't got an answer to no newscast or none of y'all. Again, quotes here. I saved y'all's kids' lives from this monster who did this shit to my kids. Okay. I don't think that's quite right. Mary Wren said the brothers were good students who were not in a gang. Their profile pictures holding guns was just a front for other thugs who had tried to jump them before. Maybe that's part of the affiliation, right? I mean, that definitely is a factor and is scary out here. I would hate to be a kid today. And not that it's ever been easy, but in the world of social media, everybody wants to be tough and a gangster these days when they're teenagers. Everybody wants to show what weapon they got. That's just what it is, she said. Wren wants her sons remembered as laughing, happy teens. who are on the honor roll. It's sad and it sucks and it's terrible. We got next here on deck, but yeah, she's not looking the best just from a lot of the articles that I'm looking at. Okay, we'll start out right here. So right out the gate, Brice, getting a defense attorney, not happy with the guy that he gets here, decides that he's he's not been happy at all, essentially. Today was the most I've seen him just kind of content on sitting there and not being a total piece of shit. So first defense attorney that was unfortunate enough to end up with Brice as their client, ended up with spit in their face, right? Now, this defense attorney also was ready to fight Brice, essentially, in court the day that this happened, and was not having it. Called him a coward. Watch a little bit of that just for a second.
Detectives now telling us they were killed at Rhodes' apartment in the Clifton neighborhood. Police say the bodies were taken from the murder scene and dumped behind a vacant home in the Shawnee neighborhood. Rhodes told a judge this morning he'll find another attorney. Leaving court, he had a question. He'll need $2 million to get out of jail. Rhodes is also charged in the shooting death of Christopher Jones in early May. The two teens' mother says she believes her sons were killed because they witnessed Jones' murder. The funeral for the two brothers is ending right about now. McLeod says he attended the visitation earlier this afternoon.
Oh, that wasn't the spit video. What was it? Here we go. The coward part. Yeah, got the story on that one. This is the video of that. That was in the video that I initially posted that I was trying to hype this up with. Fire exchange of words took place in the Louisville courtroom Tuesday between the man charged with killing two teenage brothers and the attorney who represented him. Before the hearing started, attorney Brendan McLeod told the judge that he was so angry he would need to be separated from Brice Rhodes in court. He tells WDRB he was speaking with Rhodes in court, explaining he would no longer represent him. He says everything was calm, and out of nowhere, Rhodes spit on him. After Rhodes was led into the courtroom in his red jumpsuit marking his protective custody, McLeod let him know how he felt about being spit on moments before. Nice cheap shot, he says. You're a coward, Rhodes fired back. He said, nice cheap shot. You're a coward. I will see you when I get out. He likes to say things in that context a lot, like he's ever going to get out of here. It started after McLeod told the judge he needed to be removed from the case due to a conflict of interest. McLeod told WDRB he initially represented Rhodes because he knows his mother, but he later learned the two victims are the grandchildren of his good friend. Conflict of interest there. Rhodes is charged with the murders of 14-year-old Larry Ordway and the brother, 16-year-old Maurice Gordon. The two brothers, again, were found stabbed and burned, but the footage of that is insane. I thought I had it. I thought that's what that clip was. Got mixed up there. I'll probably find it pretty quickly though. It's wild though. I've been just deep in this one, yeah.
Spit on and threatened. A defense attorney says that is what happened when he told a high-profile murder suspect he'd no longer represent him.
WDRB's Rachel Collier shows us what happened in front of a judge. Rachel?
Brice Rhodes is here in jail charged with killing two teenage brothers.
Oh, was it?
Now,
yeah. I think I did get that one right. Yeah. Yeah, just I was reading my notes there when I did that, but just an absolute, I say it there, a miserable soul. Yeah, nailed it. Like a piece of absolute shit, and just continually being a piece of shit through his entire life. Okay, there's earlier today, because we're going to get there, we're going to see him today in court. I was surprised. I don't know why all of a sudden he's decided let's get through this, but he has. I'm going to show this right here. Yeah, I'd gotten this picture. This is, bring this out here. This is him. Again, look at being flanked by all of these law enforcement, right? All that law enforcement wearing the spit mask because he can't control himself. Okay. He's spit on, correction officers, threw urine on correction officers. He is truly uncontrollable until, again, right now when he's been threatened with a shock cuff. A shock cuff is something that essentially, if a button is pushed, he will get a jolt. He will get a shock if he acts up during the current trial that's happening right now. So See where I'm at right now in my notes here. Teens killed so they couldn't snitch on Rhodes. Teens killer feared they would snitch. Both teens witnessed Rhodes fatally shoot again. Christopher Jones. And then, according to the mother, were even saying that they were scared. And then his initial, and then there's been points in time during this entire thing he thinks that he's being screwed over, right? He's blaming the detectives for basically coming after him, which is insane. Like, he's actually in open court when he's fighting the judges, talking about two detectives having it out for him, and these detectives have this cabal, and they're ready to actually take down the great Rambo, and they're doing a good job so far because no one can see what's really going on. Especially when Brice acts out in court and threatens a judge, right? Triple murderer suspect Brice Rhodes, who spat on his attorney and another inmate, is now charged with threatening to kill a judge and her family. Deputies took extra precautions. We're still in 2016 here. This is September. Strapping Brice Rhodes in a restraint chair by his wrists and ankles, covering his mouth with a spit mask, and wheeling him into the court for a Friday afternoon arraignment. Yet he still managed to get into more trouble when he repeatedly threatened to track down the judge and kill her and her family, shouting, "What do you think? You think I don't know where you live?" Anybody that's also watched that clip, it's crazy. As extra deputies stood nearby, along with 3 corrections officers wearing gloves, Rhodes, upset about the restraints and mask, continued to rant. That one, Lordy. Getting wheeled in here. Watch this.
Mr. Rhodes, you can just bring him up right here.
Just park that motherfucker right there.
Why y'all have me come out like this for?
I think you know why.
Make sure he's locked. Make sure the lock.
You know exactly why. Now, listen. Stop talking.
Yes, ma'am.
Have been.
Oh my God.
Are you done?
No, I ain't done.
You've been charged in the 4th degree. I'm going to keep talking because I don't want to have to see you back here for this.
What you think where you live at? What you think at? None of that. I ain't do.
So you're saying you're going to find out where I'm out?
None of that. You got family, I'll be out.
Okay.
Yeah,
You've been charged with assault in the 4th degree, minor injury, terroristic threatening in the 3rd degree with physical contact. New charges. I'm entering a plea of not guilty on your behalf. Would you like me to read the arrest warrant to you?
No, I'm not guilty.
I am setting a bond of $15,000 full cash on that on those charges, and the other case, once this actually gets served on you, is going to be dismissed without prejudice as duplicate. Do you have any questions? Would you like appointment of a public defender?
Not guilty.
I just said that.
Not guilty.
I just said that.
Okay, I just said that.
Alright.
And
Like,
would you like an
Get this
attorney?
motherfucker out of here.
Myself.
I'm not taking you anywhere. They can take you back, but would you like an attorney?
All right.
Okay. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office.
Look at her. She's just done with it.
Ms. Schroering, that was a threat against the court. I think that I'm asking the county attorney's office to take that into account and consider what to do with that.
Nothing. Don't do anything with it because it ain't going to stop. Basically, that's what happens now. The judges just let him keep going because what are you going to do, right? What are we going to do? We can hold him into contempt for the rest of forever. We need to get through the trial so we can get some kind of justice again for the grandma. She has been on record. She wants death. To that point, hold on. They actually took death off the table for Mr. Brice Rhodes. Brice Rhodes won't face the death penalty in triple murder trial. The judge said Rhodes was found to be intellectually disabled and has suffered from a serious mental illness for almost all of his life. Brice Rhodes has an IQ of 73. That means the harshest sentence that Rhodes will now face is life without parole. Somebody else, we'll introduce a few more people here. A prosecutor, Elizabeth Jones Brown. I know some people have probably already seen her. Judge in this case, Judge Julie Kalin. Hope I'm saying that correctly. Brice's defense attorney, Tom Griffiths. Here's the photo of the gentleman that was actually spit on initially from 2016. Let's talk about Antoine Carter, okay, who was released but currently in prison in Florida. I learned that today. So initially a part of this, one of the kids that was in the apartment was made, the 15-year-old that was made to stab, and the main one that really spilled the beans here. We'll watch a video here in a second on him as well. But he's ended up, they let him out, right? He was a juvenile, he ended up in juvenile detention. 18, he was going to be moved over. He's going to be serving 10 years. He ends up actually being able to get out on probation, gets to go to Florida, and then ended up getting another violent charge there, which he's in prison to 2024. And I think that actually has fucked him up back in Kentucky. And now he's fucked up his initial release reform there, the reason for his probation. So he's fucked either way. Antoine Carter, 15, took a plea deal from the Commonwealth. Carter pleaded guilty to facilitation of the May murders of Christopher Jones, 40, and teen brothers Maurice and Larry Ordway. Carter will stay in a juvenile detention facility until he turns 18. At that point, he will be resentenced in Jefferson County Court. Let's look at this. This is right here is Antoine Carter.
Detectives interview.
Talking to police in the initial interrogation footage. Now you'll see right off the gate here, you'll see our Rambo friend here, Brice Rhodes, not saying much at all. But then wait till Carter, again, a 15-year-old Carter, who was, in his words, and he says, made to stab these boys to be implemented in these crimes.
Interviewed him on May 24th.
Where they run away to? Like,
well, if we knew that, man, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I wish I could help know where they was. I don't.
Not long after, Rhodes stopped answering questions and asked for a lawyer. But 15-year-old Antoine Carter didn't stop talking. He said he and 18-year-old Jacory Taylor were in Brice's apartment when the murders took place.
He made Maurice on his knees and beg for forgiveness. And he put a toboggan over his head, and he put a rag in his mouth, and then he stabbed him.
Carter describes a similar scene for Maurice's brother.
We moved Maurice to the side, and we brought his brother, and we put the toboggan over his head. He put the toboggan over his head and put the sock in his mouth.
Carter says he and Taylor were forced to be involved in the killing.
He made us stab him.
He made you all stab him? So you and Corey stabbed him too? Alright, how many times do you think you stabbed him?
I stabbed him one time.
Carter says the brothers had witnessed Rhodes kill a man earlier that month, a possible reason into why they were killed.
And they seen somebody just falling on the street, and they said Rambo's at the street, and shot him. And Maurice, he was a getaway driver, so he was driving.
Detective.
Yeah. So, that was initially what really, Carter helped a lot, essentially. He got to get a pretty good deal out of this. He was also extremely young. But this is what I found, and I'd learned this just from the openings today, that he is currently in jail in Florida, which is crazy. But the initial, that was in Louisville teenager convicted in Savage 2016 murders and released from jail. This is 2019. Savage killings, burned the bodies. And later last month, a judge ordered that one of the teens convicted in those murders to be released from jail, which was Antoine Carter. Antoine Carter was 15 years old at the time. Police officers arrested 4 suspects: Carter, Brice Rhodes, Jacory Taylor, and Tyron Coleman. Carter, Taylor, and Coleman took plea deals, agreeing to testify against Rhodes as the man behind the killings. We should be seeing all of them. I don't know if Carter, I guess he won't be, where he's incarcerated in Florida. It almost feel like they would work something out there, but it was an emotional scene last month, and the Jefferson Circuit Judge Charles Cunningham agreed to release Carter on 5 years of probation with threat of having to serve a 20-year prison sentence if that probation is violated. So yeah, he's fucked. 20 years is coming for Carter as soon as he gets out in Florida, I would imagine, the way this reads to me. But Cunningham wanted to hear an apology. And also, apparently, while he was in juvenile detention and maybe in the early stages of prison before this deal got worked out, I guess before any of this happened, he had some kind of auto accident and a bunch of cash ended up being put into his account, right? He ended up getting a bunch of money while being put away one thing they worked out that is actually pretty cool is he had to, when he got out, get headstones for the two boys, for Larry and Maurice. So, you know, very small token, and it was forced, I'm sure, you know, obviously by the court. But the next individual here, we got Tyrone Coleman, okay? Got the right thing. Arrested in November of 2016 in connection with the murders of the teen brothers. Put his name in here. Tyrone Coleman. Yeah. Fourth arrest made. A 19-year-old previously indicted in connection with the two murders of two teenagers in May was booked into jail on Wednesday. Tyrone Coleman of Louisville is accused in the stabbing deaths of the brothers Maurice and Larry. Already charged with the murder in the case is 26-year-old Brice and Jacoy Taylor. And Antoine Carter, who I was just talking about. Coleman was indicted on November 22nd. His coming a little bit later. And on 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of abuse of a corpse, and 1 count of complicity tampering with physical evidence. The indictment does not detail Coleman's alleged role in the killings. He was arraigned Wednesday in Jefferson Circuit Court and pleaded not guilty. Court records show $500,000 to get this man bonded out. But he ended up also taking a plea deal. All right. Plea deals for everybody. All right. I think he ended up getting 10 years. Okay. Now that's where shit happened. Where Taylor, 10 years. Okay. Carter's going to ended up with 20. Still, that's not enough. I feel like in a lot of these cases. Again, he was really young, and the manipulation at that point can come back. You know, being put in that spot. But it's a lot, man. It's hard, especially when so many lives have been lost and so many family lives ruined. Now, here's something that's pretty dark. I guess it could give a little bit more credit to Carter. Carter was the only one that voted for the boys to live. Apparently, they fucking took a vote this night. Okay. Men took a vote on whether to kill the teen brothers. The lives came down to a vote taken by the 5 men on May 22nd. The men put a vote whether to kill or let the teenagers go. This is what Antoine Carter told police. In a second, more comprehensive interview with police about the murder of the brothers and the May 5th slayings of another man, Christopher Jones, Carter said he was the only one to cast a vote calling for Ordway and Gordon to live. During his first interview on May 24th, Carter told Louisville Metro Police that he, Brice Rhodes, and Jacoy Taylor were involved in tying up the brothers and stabbing them before burning and discarding their bodies. Rhodes and Taylor have pleaded not guilty to murder and tampering with physical evidence charges. In an October interview released the court records this week, Carter told police there were 2 other adult men at Rhodes' home that night. He does not name them. Those men helped tie up the teens, stab them, and dispose of their bodies. I mean, I just found this article today. How fucking dark is that, dude? Again, pop this graph up here. How dark is that? They took a vote this night, okay, if they're going to kill these fucking kids or not. Dark shit. We're up to September of 2017. That's when Tyrone Coleman takes a plea deal. Prosecutors offered Coleman 10 years. Wrong button. Or 15 years placed on probation. They really wanted the probation. Ended up giving the 10 years in prison. A judge has set this was set to sentence in September 7th of 2017, but they did go through and he got the 10 years as well. But again, took a plea deal. A little too damn good to be involved in something like this, if you ask me. January 2018, back to the mother of these 2 teens. She lunges at this motherfucker in court, okay? Now, I know you guys have seen the footage of him taunting her. It's not that night. It's not that day when that happened. That was actually more recent.
It was a violent, split-second decision.
I flipped out. I couldn't take it no more.
Marie Wren lunged toward the man accused of stabbing her sons to death and burning their bodies.
As he laughs as they leave. Like, nothing actually touches this dark fucking soul. Okay? Evil is inside of Brice Rhodes here.
He kills kids.
For most of the hearing, which lasted about 20 minutes, Wren was quiet and out of sight. But she says she lost control as Rhodes stood up to be led out of the courtroom.
Every Sunday you go to church and you pray and you try to forgive. The anger still builds up in your soul.
And it's that anger that Wren says boiled over Friday.
Ain't nobody gonna sit in court and hold their composure and have a demon turn around and laugh about them killing your kids. It's just not gonna work for anybody.
After being forcibly removed from the court, the judge spoke with Wren's mother.
Actually, that might have been the same day as that one.
Told her if the family can't stay calm, they should stay home. But Wren says she won't rest until she gets justice.
The emotions, I couldn't even freaking imagine. She's not looked at exactly in the best light in a lot of these different articles, but that's her kids, at the end of the day. Mistakes may have been made, but she's had to stay in there. And then you got Brice Rhodes looking back and blowing kisses and whatnot. February 2018, Brice tries to get Jacoy Taylor to keep his mouth shut, okay? Facing up to the death penalty if convicted. This was still before it was taken off the table. They've taken that off recently. Murderer defendant Brice Rhodes sent jailhouse notes to co-defendant threatening him if he testified in the triple homicide case. Rats get exposed was written across the top of a police statement transcript, as well as a handwritten letter sent to Jacoy Taylor. Again, sent from Brice Rhodes to Jacoy. Listen, dude, you're going to have to keep your mouth shut. And then threatening him as well. Handwritten notes sent to Jacoy Taylor, 17 at the time of the killings, and now 19, again underage. The teen gang took a plea deal in January that requires him to testify at the trial. He accepted the prosecution's offer, another 10-year deal or 20 years of probation. I believe he got the 10 years also. A decision that will be left at this point in time. This was before it actually happened, but another plea deal that was given out. Another 10 years for you, buddy. Here you go. Have a tenner. Yeah, here in May, he actually the plea deal was accepted of 10 years. 2019, I mentioned that earlier. Carter released from prison, ending up in Florida, ending up back in prison. Learned nothing from this, which is absolutely insane and really hurts your head. October 2019. Lost my place. October 2019, accused triple murderer Brice Rhodes threatened a Louisville judge on Thursday while claiming his own attorney was a racist. Okay, he also accused the judge of having sexual relations with the prosecutor. Rhodes, who had been repeated outbursts during court hearings, cursed at Jefferson Circuit Court Judge Charles Cunningham during a pretrial hearing. Get this one up here.
Accused triple murderer threatens a Louisville judge while claiming his own attorney's a racist. WDRB's Travis Ragsdale shows us what happened and why
a racist.
Some believe he's playing the system.
System.
Another day in court with Brice Rhodes and another wild day with cursing and outbursts.
Your job is to do your job, not to worry about me. That's what I'm saying. Well, I worry about me. You worry about himself.
In typical Brice Rhodes fashion, he once again had that outburst at Judge Charles Cunningham on Thursday. It came during a pretrial hearing for the accused triple murderer. Rhodes was arguing that detectives are framing him for the May 2016 murders of Larry Ordway and Maurice Gordon. He's also accused of shooting and killing 40-year-old Christopher Jones around the same time.
Two Louisville homicide detectives, Mr. Tonelli and Mr. Griffin, both fabricated testimony and evidence they committed perjury.
He's facing the death penalty and, for the third time, wants a new attorney.
You're not trying to give me a fair chance, effective counsel.
Well, who do you think I should give you as a lawyer?
I'll write the Bar Association and the ACLU.
Ordway and Gordon were found stabbed to death and burned in the backyard of a West Louisville home. After Rhodes' outburst in court Thursday,
you worry about yourself.
He had some parting words for Judge Cunningham.
You're gonna find out, though.
You're gonna find out, though.
Find out real quick. Promise that.
Looks like the back of his head has been just scraped up against a brick wall while in prison.
That's when the victim's grandmother.
The grandma. Now, here's all the energy I need right now to just keep motherfucking going. Huh?
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
Jackie Partee spoke up from her seat.
It's going on 4 years for him to stay. I'm their grandma, and this is going on for 4 years.
Do you think he should be executed?
Yes.
Yes!
Explained the
and then that's been taken off the fucking table now. Yes! Resounding yes from Grammy.
Process to her and how he's trying to avoid the case getting thrown out on appeal. WDRB spoke to Partee after that, outside the courtroom.
It's very frustrating. It's frustrating probably to the judge to see him keep doing what he's doing. But what can you do? My grandchildren didn't have a chance. Everything that he's saying in there, thinking he's so smart.
Did you guys see the picture that I posted?
This has got to stop.
Rhodes is scheduled to go to trial in April, but that will likely have to be pushed back until his issues with his attorney are resolved. Travis
right here. So let me open it up just a little bit. You can see he's staring at her. This was the grandma. We just saw her. This was today, live today, her coming into court. Brice Rhodes staring her down. Okay. Here's the prosecutor, and you've got Brice's counsel here. Look at this, though. Just staring her down here. This piece of fucking shit, dude. You fucking kidding me? That's what got me riled up real good, okay? When Grandma came up and was like, it's been 4 damn years and we want some justice. It's like, you're damn right we want some justice. Okay? This upstanding, great individual also likes to throw his bodily functions at people, whether that's spit or whether that's piss. Louisville man awaiting trial. Let's see here. Has additional charges filed for throwing urine on a corrections officer from his cell, threatening to kill another officer at the jail, threatening to kill a judge and her family. Rhodes was arrested in 2016. Uncontrollable. Like, that's why we've made it to the point where we are now at shock cuff status if this guy can't control himself, okay? It makes sense. Is it inhumane? I don't think so at this point in time, actually. December 2021, this trial has had loads of delays because Brice Rhodes' actions and outbursts and refusal to work with the defense team. He actually went years without speaking to the defense team that's representing him right now. I'm talking he wouldn't speak with them, okay? And then a judge ordered a competency evaluation, which he passed. Okay, that's when they found out that he has a IQ of 73. Okay, they don't think that it would be humane to give him the death penalty, but he is still competent enough to sit through this trial, they believe. Here is the video of that is really gross. I wanted to show this. Then we're going to get into a little bit of reactions to some raps before we get into the day, okay? We're going to midnight. Get some snacks. Get in, baby. We're in, baby. We're in.
Can we do a fair trial in Jefferson County? But then another part of it is, if we have a concern, what's the alternative? Because then if we might get into a situation on the law where I'm supposed to weigh the pros and the cons. Ma'am.
Stop it. Look at me.
Ma'am!
He keeps tiring.
Ma'am, I told you once before, let me please help you understand. You can't just talk out like that, okay? If you can't handle him looking at you respectfully, all I can tell you to do is don't be in my courtroom, because he's going to keep doing it, particularly now that he knows that it irritates you. So you either are able to control yourself or you're not. And I would understand why you could not. I get that completely. But I can't have you talking up in court, okay? I need you to hear this. The next time it happens, there will be a consequence. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Rhodes, you're smiling. I don't know why you're smiling.
Because I can.
Well?
Because I can. It's not a crime to smell.
It's not a crime to
Continue
smile.
what you were saying.
But it doesn't help you, all right, to irritate people.
All right.
And you have a lot at stake in this case.
It's not a crime to smell, is it?
I didn't say you were committing a crime.
Okay then.
I'm saying
Continue
you're not
what you were
helping
saying.
yourself.
Continue what you were saying.
I'm
allowed
done.
to smell.
I would suggest
All right.
you do what helps
Okay.
you, not what hurts you.
Okay.
That's
Do what I
all.
want to do.
Well,
Let's
do
get
what
that
you want to do.
understood.
That's fine.
Let's get that understood.
I'm sorry?
Let's get that understood.
Why?
Is it the Southern thing? I've seen Southern judges have a set of balls. Excuse me? Like when he's being, do you and the prosecutor have a sexual relationship going on? Well, no, we actually don't have a sexual relationship going on at all, sir. What the fuck why are we talking to this guy like this? Again, I get it if you just keep fighting, what can you do? I mean, you want to get through it. I don't know, but it's really frustrating to be me and watching this. I can't imagine being a family member or someone really associated with this.
You made that
continue what you were saying about the motions.
Okay. I'm saying I want to have a hearing on it, and we'll be happy to give you a date when we can come back and talk about that. Is there work we need to do to be ready for that hearing, or we basically have what work needs to be done?
Judge, we haven't received their motion.
And that's it. They let it go. He, in that moment, felt empowerment. How gross is that to watch? That fucking sucks. I don't know what you do. I don't know if the right move, because I mean, I get angry. I start yelling. I don't know if that's the right move. Maybe that's not the right move. I don't know. I'll tell you what the right move is. I'm going to show you right now. The shot cuff. The shot cuff is the right move. Okay. Death penalty off the table. Okay. Competent enough to stand trial. We're up to now. Holy shit. Continues to get charges piled on over the years. We could be here all night long, but why are we here right now? Because we want to watch this motherfucker right? Huh? I've got two videos here. One's called Snot. And one is called something else. I'm going to get these up here. We're going to do some live Rambo rap reactions for this dumb motherfucker. So, get these up here. Oh. And the other one is called Thuggin' and Juggin'. Okay? We'll start with Snot here. I don't know if we'll make it all the way through. We're going to see how this goes. Again, let me look at the chat here. I haven't really got to look at much. I've been going, baby. I've been preparing this. I'm all in. Again, Holly Berry. Thank you so much for turning me on to this one. And Dizzy. I want to give a special a shout out and props to Dizzy because she's been all over this today, dude. She's been helping me out. She's been keeping me up to date. What's going on? You guys are fucking MVPing it up in this motherfucker. I appreciate it. I love you guys. Yeah. Let me go back here. What are y'all doing in here? I don't even know. I do see a super chat. Hello Spring 2016 $4.99. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mandy Joe needs you to go back to the mom video and show the baby in the middle of the fight. Did I miss a baby? Was a baby in a fight when she was freaking out? I might have missed that. Have to do the reaction to a baby in a fight in a courtroom, baby. Yeah, thank y'all so much, man. This is a wild one. It's so interesting. It's crazy, man. What a piece of shit. What a piece of shit. Oh, Lord.
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
All right. After this, we are going to go into the opening. Now, man, Law and Crime, they put their shit as private like immediately. So I have a version from a local station, and it actually cuts off during a person's testimony at the end. It's the last person of the days, so I don't think we're missing a lot, but still, it's kind of shitty. So, and this one has been so hard to keep up with. It's so hard to find information. Like and to the moment when it's actually live, all of a sudden it's live. You're seeing people saying it's not going to be live. It is going to be live. I was like, man, I'm doing a lot of work here. Am I even going to have to watch this shit? All right, you guys even ready for this? I don't know if I'm ready for this. This one is called Snot. Yeah, his name is Rambo. Yo, they call me Rambo. Bitch, you know I'm Ramslow. Bitch, you got that Ramdo. I'm about to put it with that.
Nigga whipping up snot. Whipping up snot. Nigga whipping up snot. Whipping up.
I like rap, so this is going to be trash, bro.
Whipping up snot, nigga whipping up snot. 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 Whipping up snot in my trap house kitchen. Nigga play with me, I'ma leave his ass missing.
Mess with me, I'm going to leave him missing. Okay? He's telling you right then and there what he's going to do.
Whipping up snot, nigga, whipping up snot. Whipping up snot, nigga, whipping up snot. Whipping up snot, nigga, whipping up snot.
There's literally nothing happening here.
Whipping up snot, nigga, whipping up snot. 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 Whipping up snot in my trap house kitchen. Nigga play with me, I'ma leave his ass missing. Begging big grams, get my diamond stupid pissy.
It took a whole minute to get into actual rap here. Okay, we're going now.
Kidnap a nigga cause he can't.
Ain't no slime, no.
I'm short. Ballin' in the trap like Kobe on the court.
No.
Caught a snot case, but I said fuck court. Caught a lean man cause I need a damn court. Counting big stacks make your baby mama snort. When it come to beef, man, I cook it like sausage. Pour a couple bricks, man, I hold my plug hostage. Yeah, I don't give a fuck, nigga.
It's not good. It's not even kind of good. It's not even a good beat.
In the kitchen whipping hard on that motherfucking stove. Whipping bricks, got your bitch butt naked out of clothes. Yeah, man, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. And now I gotta count and bankroll. Yeah. Fucking shit, bitch. Yeah, you want my dick. You want my dick. Ice chain coat, yeah, Sub-Zero. For that block south side, under here.
Holy shit, we're only halfway through this. It feels like I've been here. If I've been streaming for an hour, and it feels like I've been watching this video for an hour.
With the snot up, double zeros. Got your main bitch twerking.
Yeah, I see a little bit of chat in here. The white dude saying the N-word. He looks Spanish. I don't know. I don't know really what he is, honestly, but it doesn't feel right.
My videos, I tell her drop a shit and do the Tootsie Rolls. Black hat, black
agree with that.
hat, and a pit bull. This a drug house,
right?
And we paying for it. They like, gutter man, nigga, when you gon' drop shit, not now, nah. Too hot.
All right.
They like Rambo.
If you want your life to like feel like it's gonna last forever, just play this on loop all day long, and your days will be like, it will just go and go. Holy shit. We're 2 minutes and 29 seconds in, guys. I'm seriously dumbfounded right now.
Gon' drop shit right now. Time to take your blocks. Bitch in the kitchen, man, I'm whipping up the last block. Call it hood gives. Straight drop. Got your bitch hair blowing in the fucking drop. Heard a nigga trip. Headshot.
Whipping up snot, nigga, whipping up snot. Whipping up snot, nigga, whipping up snot.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know what the hell snot is. I've never even heard that. Like,
Whipping up snot, nigga, whipping
I'm gonna Google it.
Whipping up snot, nigga.
Urban Dictionary Scott snot.
Whipping up snot, nigga, whipping up snot. Whipping up snot, nigga, whipping up snot.
I've got it. Bam. We are about to be educated right here in real time, guys. I did not know this. But snot, a male that does stupid things, a male that cheats and gets caught because of social media, a man that buys bottles and lives at home with his parents. Multiple things, man. If you're a snot dude, man, you're out here getting caught on social media like a big old snot, huh? A man, you out here buying bottles, but going back to your mama's house, snot, brah. All right, I don't know. Never heard that.
Whipping up snot, nigga, whipping up snot. Whipping up snot, nigga, whipping up snot. Get a nigga hog tag for a damn pound. Got a silencer, 30 clip, no sound.
Needs a shirt.
That's about gutter, nigga, yeah, he run a town. Ever disrespect, nigga, I'ma lay you down. Nigga, fuck the feds in a goddamn Viper. Junkies love my snot, cause they get them more hyper. Leave a nigga bleeding like a bitch on a cycle. Say my name, I'ma hit you with my rifle.
Oh my God, we have a minute to go. Jesus Christ.
I do it with a nigga, now he shade. I give you bitches dope dick and now she crazy. Rambo, that's my nigga since babies.
Now, one thing about it, you know, I don't know about this one, but the other song that I'm going to play, Thuggin' and Juggin' or whatever it's called, maybe both of them, but at least one of the individuals, one of the teenage boys, appears in that song that he murdered.
Bitch, you ain't even gotta pay me. I be damned if I let us play me. Rambo.
If anybody comes in right now, they're like, damn, he likes some shitty ass rap.
We get together and we lay shit down. Round after round, had to put him in the ground. Pound after pound, after lock the fuck.
Only good thing that came out of this is I learned what snot means in the, the Urban Dictionary. That's actually kind of interesting. I'd never heard of that one. And I thought I was kind of hip. I'm not hip at all, apparently. We're about to find out what it means. Yeah, murder is the case. Yeah, you done fucked up, oh Rambo. Before we get into the next one, let's see if we can find out what juggin means. Juggin. Urban Dictionary. Here we go. Juggin, when someone is trying to hook up with you on social media. If Trina keeps jugging on Facebook, she will end up burnt. Trina better chill. No cap. Rambo, trapping and jugging, 8 years ago. Round 2. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? I'm not sure if I'm ready. Oh, Heather, thank you for coming in here, man. Yeah, check it out. I've been going deep. We're going to be here for a while. We're going to be here for a minute. All right. Round 2. Fixing my beanie. Oh, yep, that's one of the kids right there. Yeah, both of the kids appear in this video that ended up being killed by this motherfucker. There's another one. One of the other teenage boys. I believe that was Maurice right there. Look at this. Down below him. His gang of teens, bro. Okay.
Trapping and I'm jugging, bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trapping and I'm jugging, bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trapping and I'm jugging, bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trapping and I'm jugging, bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trap, bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging.
That's a fucking child, bro.
Trapping and I'm jugging. Trap, bitch.
What the fuck are you doing out here, man? Dude, and I've been reading about this area, bro, and apparently this is 10 years ago. I can only imagine how much worse it is now with the drugs and the crime just going rampant. Dude, the fucking kids out here that don't have a fucking chance, that's the shitty, sad part about it, bro.
Bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trap, bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trap, bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trap, bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Well, trap guy, bitch, I'm looking for a leg. In a trap spot, bitch, I'm busting down a brick. I ain't never told no motherfucking lie. Off of one zip, bitch, I seen about 5. Going hard, going ham, 200 for the ground, 24 a point. Bitch, my trap is on point. Flexing real hard, I ain't talking about a gym. Way I run through the chest.
Obviously, you're not talking about a gym. You hear him? Flexing real hard, ain't talking about a gym. Nope.
You can call me Tory Sounds. Bitches wanna fuck cause they digging my endurance.
I'd imagine no chick has ever wanted to fuck you, sir. Ever.
I don't fuck with niggas cause these niggas turning farmers. Rambo ride Chevy, last week I bought a foreign. My life is a movie, man, I heard your life was boring. Car 15, Rambo Gucci love Warren. Gone off the loud, I got her doing y'all love. Tony Montana, nigga go to war with Sosa. Doubtful gang, bitch, tries put you on a poster. Trapping and I'm jugging, bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trapping and I'm jugging, bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trapping and I'm jugging, bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trapping and I'm jugging, bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trap, bitch.
One of the lines in here is perfect, though. I mean, it's exactly what he's doing.
I'm trapping and I'm jugging.
It's actually the part that I pulled out from a video. The first video I hadn't seen. This one I did kind of peep through.
Bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trap, trap, trap. Bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trap, trap, trap. Bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Robin Jean junkie. Rambo got money. Pussy ass niggas, man, they looking at me funny. Pussy ass nigga, why you hating? Yeah, you see me rolling. Yeah, you see me skating. Married to the trap, man, I told her, bitch, I'm taking. Fuck 2 bitches, I'm laid in the middle. Gave one some powder, gave one a skittle. Heard your trap slow, heard you niggas moving nickels. Rambo got power, Rambo got guns. Wanna go to war, bitch, I do this shit for fun. Got a lot of hitters, most of them young.
Listen to that. Ain't like he is lying. I will say that. This motherfucker is telling his real actual bullshit truths, but listen to this.
Rambo got power, Rambo got guns. Wanna go to war, bitch, I do this shit for fun. Got a lot of hitters, most of them young. Jugging through the city, bitch, I'm always on the run. Yeah, she fucked the gang, so I feed a bitch crumbs. Choppers on hand, bitch, I'm posted in the slums. 17 for market where Goose mine from. Pussy nigga wanna smoke, man, I told you where to come. Trapping and I'm jugging, bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trapping and I'm jugging, bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trapping and I'm jugging, bitch, I'm trapping and I'm jugging. Trapping and I'm...
All right, yeah, so that's that. Woo, motherfucker can't rap for shit. So he wasn't going to be getting out of the projects or the hood doing that. That's for damn sure. Before we get started into this is
are given
this basically
opening statements right now. Let's listen in.
Jumps right into the opening statements here. I apologize for that. Let me just make sure on Long Crime it hasn't been put back up, but they put theirs on private. I don't know why. Because they like to fuck around with people, I guess. Yeah, they never brought it back. So, this is pretty much everything, because there was a couple of moments where there was a couple of breaks and stuff. So, I believe this is pretty much all of it. Again, it kind of busts in here in the opening, and then it ends in the middle of a witness's statement. But let's go, and hopefully moving forward, guys, I can continue to do this and bring the entire thing to you. We're going to see how that plays out here in the evenings, and we'll play it by ear. If I have to do maybe some evenings of just doing recaps, I will. But we're going to see. We're going to see how this goes. It's rocking and rolling, baby. Thanks, everyone, for being here again. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it. We got another couple hours here. Get your snacks. Share it out. Let people know. Love you guys. Let's go. Steve's first real-time trial, okay, with Murder Church, with Publicly Buzzed. I can't even talk now. I've went too hard. Let's just watch a little something. Okay.
Now I'm gonna leave this up here just as a reference for you all, so when the names start going, you can look back.
Doesn't look right in a suit, does he?
So,
put him in a suit.
One night with Brice Rhodes, we came upon an idea. The idea was basically it was hit out somebody, and they were going to
You guys hear that
kill
good?
that person and collect them. And Brice Rhodes was aware of this hit and knew who would pay on it and knew who the target was. So on May the 4th, 2016, now keep in mind, all the events from this case happened in May of 2016. So when you see witnesses on the witness stand, they don't look at all the same as they looked back then. And also people's memories are a little bit different because this happened a while ago.
Comment of the night. Comment of the night. Art with Viv. He makes my ass crave sour buttermilk. Wow. Wow.
I'm telling you like it is.
That's
baby.
from Viv. Jeez.
The idea was this.
Keep the roasting
They all
going.
hopped in a car on May the 4th, and Maurice was driving the car. It was a blue Mazda that was owned by the defendant, Mr. Rhodes. The front passenger seat was Larry. Brice Rhodes was in the back behind the driver's seat. And Corey Taylor was on the right behind the passengers. Trailing in a different vehicle.
Dear God, it's in my fucking head. Trap, trap, trap. I'm trapping in, I'm jugging. Jesus Christ.
Was
I got to get this out of my head. Hold
Corey
on.
Taylor, Antoine Carter. He's in a truck that's following behind his car. So it's nighttime, and they're driving around looking for this guy, looking to collect the price on his head. As they approach, picture of Antoine, who was the follow driver, who was 17 at the time. As they approach 41st Street, there's video of a car driving by, then video of the truck. What happened was a man was walking out in the street, and he had long braids. And so he looked like the guy that Brice Rhodes believed the hit was on. So Brice Rhodes rolled down his window. The guy was walking out of the street, cars parked in the road. He's walking out into this, away from the street, in between the cars. Brice Rhodes yells out the window to him, "Hey, get out the road, bitch," and then shoots him one time in the side. The bullet wound is going to go through his arm and into his side. Police are going to be alerted that there was a shooting and respond to the scene.
Over there by that sidewalk, please. Everybody, can you hear me? We'll get to you in a second, all right?
The man on the pavement there is Christopher Jones. He had nothing to do with any hit or street business. He was just in the wrong place in the wrong time and ended up being shot. He was still alive, but non-responsive there at the scene. EMS took him to the hospital where he passed away. This is the intersection of the nearest street the police reported to. There's another picture of Mr. Jones. And this is a picture from the body cam of approximately where his body was in the road as the car drove by. You can see the clothes he was wearing, some of the items that were on his person. And that's what he was reduced to after he was shot by Mr. Rhodes. You can see a single bullet wound in his arm, and then the entrance of the bullet wound that turned out to be fatal into his chest. So that's the end of what, if this were a play, if this wasn't so serious, we'd call the first act. Now, a couple different ways it happened, but essentially, Brice Rhodes became aware by overhearing a phone conversation with Jacory talking to Maurice that they were talking about the murder that had happened, that their family knew about it. And as soon as Mr. Rhodes knew that the boys were talking, even just to their family, he knew that they had to do something about these boys to keep them from talking, to cover up this first murder. So this is a black Dodge Charger that Mr. Rhodes had access to and often drove. And you're going to hear testimony that on the 22nd of May, just a couple of weeks later, this black Charger picked the boys, Larry and Maurice, up at their house. And that was the last time that anybody from that apartment was going to see them alive again. So Maurice and Larry are obviously going to be the victims in this second act. And it's going to be carried out by a defendant named Tyrion Coleman, by Antoine Carter, who was involved earlier, and by Corey Taylor, and by Mr. Rhodes himself. So I'm going to leave that up there
Susan.
for your reference. So this is Brice Rhodes' apartment that he lived at with his mom. He had the boys over there. It was 4 of them, well, the 6 of them, 4 individuals listed there, Maurice, Larry, and another individual. And as the night got on, boys started wrestling around, and there was a little bit of a skirmish that broke out with Maurice. And so Brice Rhodes said it was time to discipline Maurice. Maurice had pulled out a knife on somebody, and so Brice hit him upside the head pretty hard, took him out. He then said, "It's time for you to be disciplined." So he went up to Maurice, put a toboggan on his head, pulled it down over his eyes so he couldn't see. And he tied his arms behind his back so that he couldn't move. And he made him beg for forgiveness and plead for his life, which he did. He was begging everyone in that room to spare him.
The part where I said that they took a vote to see if these brothers would live, how shitty would that be to know these gang members, these friends, right? Right before you die, supposedly only one of them said, "Nah, don't do it."
And apologizing, saying he was sorry. So Larry, his brother, was taken and held in a different room. And from Larry's room, he could hear his brother pleading for his life, and he could hear what happened to his brother. And what happened to his brother is that he was punched a few times by Mr. Taylor. And then Brice Rhodes took a knife and began stabbing him over and over and over again. In the chest, in the midsection, and in the genitals. He was screaming and crying out for help, and his brother was helpless a room away to do anything about it. When they were finally done, they rolled Maurice over, and then they brought Larry into the room. And then they repeated the process. They took the toboggan off, they put it on Larry's head. They put something over Larry, and they started stabbing him until he died there in that apartment. Brice's mom and sister, who shared that apartment with him, were out of town that weekend.
Jeez.
So he had the place to himself. He had the people involved help him take the body of the boys and put them in some totes, which he then carried down and put in the back of his Mazda. Some in the back seat, and one of them in the back seat, and one of them in the trunk. And then he drove off. Now he left Anwan and Jacory at the house to clean up because there was blood all over the carpet. He gave them cleaning supplies and he gave them towel. And just for good measure, because his mom was out of town, he had them also do his dishes while they were scrubbing up the blood. He and other individuals went and dropped the body of the boys off. Dropped their bodies off. He also set fire to the items that were associated with the stabbing and left it in a dumpster. Dropped the bodies off around 4028 River Park Drive, which you can see from the area is near the park, near Lima Park where they played ball. And so on the 22nd day of May, this is what somebody in the neighborhood discovered. 2 boys mutilated, stabbed, set on fire, and left like trash. So boys' parents are starting to wonder where they're at when they don't come home after the first day. And so mom gives them a call. Well, the person that answers the phone isn't Maurice. It's Antoine Carter. And he tells her, kids are fine. They're doing something else. I just borrowed the phone. So police discover the 2 bodies. And eventually they have sketch artists come out. They can't get fingerprints because the bodies are too badly burned. They have sketch artists come out and draw a picture of how the boys looked, and they're looking for, checking news stories for missing boys. Eventually, they find that there's 2 boys that are missing from Olmsted School, and they have the boy's mother come out, and she identifies that, yes, that's them. From there, police realize a couple things. They know who the boys left with that night. They know that it was Mr. Rhodes. They also know that they left with Antoine Carter and Jacory Taylor. So police track the phone, and eventually it leads them to Antoine Carter. And Antoine Carter eventually ends up talking to police and explaining what happened after some little bit of give and take. He finally got to the story of what happened. About this same time, police pick up Brice Rhodes. He gives a short statement, which you will hear. Police go out to Brice Rhodes' house once they've heard what happened, and they start pulling up the carpet from his house. And when they do a DNA analysis on that carpet, of course, they find the blood of the 2 brothers is there on the carpet. Police also learn that after this event, after that night, when Brice Rhodes comes back from dropping the bodies off, he picks up the 2 boys that were left to clean up the house. Corey had with him the boots that he wore in the house. And he left those boots at a girlfriend's house. And so police got a search warrant. They go to that girlfriend's house, and those boots, the DNA on those boots, comes back to the boys as well, corroborating what was said earlier. Also gives a statement to the police, and it pretty much matches the statement of Antoine Carter that I've just relayed to.
It'd be awesome if, like, which I know it's not going to happen, if they could, if there was a shock, you would actually hear the jolt. I need to get a shocking sound effect just so we can pretend like it's happening.
So, this picture of the apartment, how cleanly the flooring was stripped from Brice Rhodes' place. Another thing that police did once the investigation got underway was they went and looked at Brice Rhodes' blue Mazda that had transported the 2 victims in the tote sacks. And you'll notice this is a picture of the back seat of the Mazda. All the cloth seating has been ripped out of it.
Police get to this, they're like, excuse me,
And this
sir,
is
what
a
happened to all the
picture of,
cloth back here?
Jacory
What do you mean? When I bought it, that thing didn't have any
statement.
cloth in it. It's how it
You
came
can
in its
see-
factory.
I want you to remember how young he truly is.
Right now, just a little.
At this point in time, he is
Little jolt.
5'5", weighs 122 pounds. Brice Rhodes is a 25-year-old grown man. It's a picture of the boots that were recovered from the girlfriend's house. You're going to hear from a lot of different people that are going to come through. The police that were involved with both of these investigations that had to piece together that the 2 investigations were connected and take over, so there's going to be 2 different lead officers. You're going to hear from experts in, you're going to hear from the medical examiner, you're going to hear from CSU professionals. You're going to hear everything that the police did to make sure that the 3 victims in this case
come through. You guys hear this? Where's it gonna come through? Right here, maybe. Whoa, yeah, it's really loud. Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to find a. Oh yeah, just to fill that. Huh? Just shocking them. That's a little too light. Gotta build up to it. He's just over there. Feel like that first one, just get him real good.
get justice. I hope at the conclusion of the Commonwealth's case, you will give me that justice. Thank you.
Sorry about the loudness at first. It was way louder than this trial. Apologize. Hold on. There it is. Perfect time. You motherfucker. I think that he's getting a little bit out of line here. Huh? Don't you? A little bit out of line? Huh? Huh? Oh, you motherfucker. Oh, yeah. In this, does this not sound like water going down a drain? The sound bar? Right? While they're doing that, we can get a couple of jolts in here. A couple extra jolts. You motherfucker, huh? Couple extra jolts? For Mr. Rambo? Huh? Rambo just accidentally fell into an electrified pit. Charge it up, charge it up. Charge it up real good. Charge it up real good. Yeah! Yeah! Jolt! Jolt! You motherfucker. Playing with your beard over there. I wonder what happened to the back of his head. Was it really someone playing with his peen? Someone shoved him up into a wall real hard. Is he calling somebody daddy in prison now? Is that why he's so under control now? Someone's got old Mr. Brice Rambo Rhodes underneath their thumb in the prison system? Huh? Yeah. Give the shocker to the mom. What I say. Sheriff done rolled in here. Sheriff's like, I reckon everything's under control. I'm sorry. I've killed everybody. I apologize. There we go. Holly Berry knows. Oh my God, Ember, I'm so sorry. Anybody with earbuds on, please don't hate me. I just lost. I'm going to look at my subs. They're going to be like, and we're out. This is what just happened. I guess if you're deaf, you have to technically unsub the person that deafened you. Jesus Christ. Oh my Lord. Is this when the grandma's coming in? I think it is. I think that's the daughter. Here we go. Now, let me real quick, because I know it's just slightly off. I want to get him in there. I want to get that picture because look at him over there, peeking. Huh? He's going to be peeking in just a minute. Watch people come through here. And there's Elizabeth. She's to dive right across there, get him right by the fucking throat. He's
If
peeking
everybody who's
back.
already seated could move in towards the wall, please, and make room for anyone else who wants to come in during this break.
There she is. There's the grandma. Look at him. Shock him now.
Please have a seat. All right, would the defense like to make an opening statement now? Sure. All right, please go ahead.
All right, defense is opening.
I stabbed him. I stabbed Maurice in his side. I drove on him. I ran him over. Ladies and gentlemen, these are quotes from someone involved in this case, but these are not quotes from Brice Rhodes. These statements were made by Anwan Carter. Anwan Carter talking about killing his best friend, Maurice Gordon, and running over a helpless Christopher Jones. Anwan Carter is the prosecution's main witness in this trial. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm thankful that you're here. I know Brice is also grateful that you are here because he has waited a long time for you all to hear the evidence. The evidence, or the lack thereof, will show you that Brice Rhodes is not guilty of these accusations. The burden of proof being beyond a reasonable doubt, why do we keep talking about that? I know you've heard that many times already. Our system, our government makes it so difficult to take someone's freedom that we can't let the government make any mistakes. And we want to be sure that no one is ever wrongfully convicted, especially in a situation where the stakes are this high. The government has made some very serious accusations against Brice. And I'm not here to undermine the loss that the families and the community have suffered as a result of these senseless deaths. But I'm here to make sure that nobody is wrongfully convicted, and that's why you are here. As jurors in this case, you guys have a great responsibility. But with that responsibility also comes a great power. You all have the power to hold the government to their burden of proving Brice Rhodes guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the power to say no. You have the power to say we are not convinced. And the power to know that that decision is okay. So how do you make that decision? As Ms. Jones-Brown told you earlier, none of us can define reasonable doubt for you. That's up to you as a juror. That's up to you as an individual. Power. So what are you going to use to make this determination? You will hear evidence over the next several days. You will decide what evidence you find credible, what witnesses you find believable. So what evidence do you all expect to see to help you make this decision? It's a very important decision. Eyewitnesses, that might be good. I think you'll find that there aren't any eyewitnesses who were not themselves involved in these crimes. There are no neutral witnesses. Do these witnesses have a motive to lie? Can we trust them? You might expect to see a murder weapon. There's not one. Is there physical evidence? Yes. Can it be trusted? That's up to you all to decide. Let's talk about the physical evidence. The Louisville Metro Police Department found tire tracks and footprints at the scene where Larry and Maurice's bodies were found. The tire tracks could not be linked to Brice's vehicle. The footprints did not match Brice's shoes. Brice's fingerprints were not on any evidence. Brice Rhodes' DNA was not found on any evidence except for on the steering wheel and the gear shift of his own vehicle. Let's talk about Brice's car. Commonwealth showed you a picture of the Mazda. Louisville Metro Police Department searches Brice's car and claims that the entire back seat of Brice's light blue Mazda had been removed in an effort to conceal evidence of these crimes. No DNA linking Brice to those crimes was recovered in that car. You'll hear that Brice borrowed Chris Jensen's black Charger to drive these boys around. And when you hear from Mr. Jensen, note that he is not going to be able to say that anyone was with Brice when he picked up that black Charger, nor was anyone with Brice when he dropped off that black Charger to Mr. Jensen. These are things to consider. I want to give you an alternate perspective, if you will, than what the government has. Have they accused the right person, or was Brice an easy target to blame? Has the one who already committed these crimes pled guilty? I ask you all to listen to the evidence, observe the witnesses, and ask yourselves if something isn't quite right here. The evidence will show that there is a reasonable doubt that Brice Rhodes is guilty. Let's talk about the detectives in this case. As you all know, the Louisville Metro Police Department was the agency responsible for investigating both of these murders, both scenes, or excuse me, both incidents on May 4th and then again on May 22nd. And there were two lead detectives, as the Commonwealth told you, Detective Griffin and Detective Tonelli, and you'll hear from both of them. But I want you to think about how many hands were involved in this case. When it comes to handling evidence, interviewing witnesses, executing search warrants, mistakes were made. And I want you to think, can we rely on every person that works for the Louisville Metro Police Department? You will learn that the Louisville Metro Police Department investigated these homicides. And once again, this is the same force that murdered Breonna Taylor. Yes.
Do we get to shock him again? We get to shock him again? I think sidebars are shock time. I think I've got this right. I'm going to try to not blow everyone's ears out. Hold on. You motherfucker. You motherfucker. Build one up. Build one up. Build a big one up. Yeah. How much time we got left? Build a good one up. Yeah. Boom. Whammo. Whammo. Waiting to kiss her. Yeah. Pull out. Pull out. Yeah. Let me see him. Let me see him. Yeah. Whoa. Whoa. Who do you think you are?
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
Son of a bitch!
Oh man, I shot Marvin in the face.
Why the fuck you do that? I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Let's get out of the ocean.
Any information in this case to the case of Breonna Taylor. I'm going to admonish you to disregard counsel's last statement at this point.
Ladies and gentlemen, even if you find Detective Tonelli and Detective Griffin, the two lead detectives in this case, as I mentioned, there were so many hands in this case. Can you rely on everyone else that works for Louisville Metro Police Department? Detective Tonelli lied under oath about one of the biggest pieces of physical evidence that the police possessed. He told the court under oath not once, but twice, that law enforcement had a piece of evidence that they did not have and do not have. So you might be asking yourself, I can see how some evidence could be lost. Maybe it was a tiny piece of hair, maybe it was a speck of DNA. That seems reasonable. Ladies and gentlemen, no, it was an entire back seat of a car. It's gone. You know how I told you earlier that the police stated that Brice's back seat had been removed. Detective Tonelli told a judge and then a grand jury that the Louisville Metro Police
Welcome in here, Tony.
found and collected a burnt back seat from a dumpster that matched Brice Rhodes' back seat. And now it's gone. I am mystified as to how you lose a piece of evidence that big. It's huge. It's a huge piece of evidence.
That's pretty
Not only
crazy.
physically, but to the case as well.
Oh shit.
So in an effort to get Brice charged, the court was misled, the grand jury was misled about a piece of evidence in the LMPD's possession. Did they lie under oath about having it? Or did they dispose of it because it didn't help their case?
Sorry, let me go back a little bit. My bad.
Seat had been removed. Maybe I do not. You meant Tonelli and Detective Griffin, the two lead detectives in this
Caught up in the
case.
shocking.
As I mentioned, there were so many hands in this case. Can you rely on everyone else that works for Louisville Metro Police Department? Detective Tonelli lied under oath about one of the biggest pieces of physical evidence that the police possessed. He told the court under oath not once, but twice, that law enforcement had a piece of evidence that they did not have and do not have.
Just not getting all those.
So you might be asking yourself, I can see how some evidence could be lost. Maybe it was a tiny piece of hair. Maybe it was a speck of DNA. That seems reasonable. Ladies and gentlemen, no, it was an entire back seat of a car. It's gone. You know how I told you earlier that police stated that Brice's back seat had been removed. Detective Tonelli told a judge and then a grand jury that the Louisville Metro Police Department had found and collected a burnt back seat from a dumpster that matched Brice Rhodes' back seat. And now it's gone. I am mystified as to how you lose a piece.
See very many fucking bears in the chat out here, but Gail out here. Gifted House of Memberships, Hello Spring 2016, Fat Baby Toodles, Ember Burns, Fofa, Catgrow. Welcome, man, this motherfucker. Thank you very much, Gail. Appreciate the shit out of that. You the best out here. There's some of them burrs. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks. Gail's going to get a couple of liquor drinks, too.
Of evidence that big. It's huge. It's a huge piece of evidence, not only physically, but to the case as well. So in an effort to get Brice charged, the court was misled, the grand jury was misled about a piece of evidence in the LMPD's possession. Did they lie under oath about having it? Or did they dispose of it because it didn't help their case? You all decide that. The Louisville Metro Police Department searched the home of Brice's mother where he was residing on Hyde Avenue in Louisville 2 times. The first search, officers found nothing incriminating. They even commented on how clean the apartment was. The crime scene unit was there, detectives were there, officers were there. It was a big search. Nothing was found. And then they decided to just go back. The officers go back, decide to search the home again, and now claim that they have found evidence that Larry and Maurice were killed there. Now there's suddenly blood there. First of all, is that how search warrants work? You keep going back until you find something, and if you don't find anything, you find a way to come back and find something. If at first you don't succeed, try again, huh? But that's not how search warrants work, ladies and gentlemen. Despite all of those officers being there, I've never seen a video recording of the search at Hyde Avenue. There's nothing for you all to watch to see what actually happened. I want you to consider that when you hear about how the evidence was collected. Consider that reasonable doubt as to the guilt of Mr. Rhodes. I want to talk to you all about the investigation in this case, or the lack thereof. I think it's fair to say that you all could conclude that the police had tunnel vision in this case. And when I say tunnel vision, I mean that they focused in on Brice Rhodes, excluding all other possible suspects. Elizabeth Wren, the mother of Larry and Maurice, was the first to point the finger at Brice Rhodes. But why? She didn't see anything. So what was her problem with Brice? Was it their romantic relationship had gone bad? I feel for her. She lost both of her sons. She's a grieving mother, and you will see that when she testifies. But I'm going to ask you to look past that. and think about the part that she played in this. Consider the reliability of her statement. Evidence will show that she is a known drug user who was aware that her juvenile sons were hanging with Ja'Cory Taylor and Anwan Carter, were involved with guns, and even knew her son's friends bought a gun out of her own home. She was naturally distraught when she spoke to the police, but also very likely under the influence. And I'm not saying that to speak ill of her.
Oh, another gift of membership. Mandy Joe giving one out. Uh-oh, whoa, weird. I think she predicted the song that's going to be used, Law Nerd Amber. Boom, going to get a little... First of all, welcome back. Thank you very much. And let me hit you with a little bit of your own song.
Amber is the color of your energy.
Whoa.
Amber is the color of your energy.
Whoa. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you very much, Mandy. Appreciate it. We got the beers. We got the liquor drinks out. JD, welcome to being a buzzed and confused member. You guys are going to find something super awesome. Specific that was just dropped a couple of days ago. The first ever anything that Publicly Buzzed that me and Dan did under the banner Publicly Buzzed. So yeah, and lots more to come too. I'm getting very specific with my membership stuff and my Patreon stuff. So everybody on board, thank you very much. Pokebomb earlier became a Patreon member. Thank you fucking so much. You guys are insane. But yeah, Mandy Joe, JD, what's up?
But as a jury, you have to know that the police took her statement and did not investigate anyone else. The police didn't care that she hated Brice. The police didn't care that they had a relationship that went sour. The police didn't care that she hadn't actually seen anything. They already had a name, and she was happy to trash her ex-boyfriend. Ladies and gentlemen, no other suspects were investigated. Not a full investigation was done, as you might expect to see in a case of this magnitude. There were, however, other suspects to investigate. Just prior to the shooting of Christopher Jones, a Louisville Metro police officer reported a suspect in a white shirt, reported receiving a report of a suspect in a white shirt riding a bicycle and waving a gun around in the area. This is not a coincidence. It's a high crime area. It wasn't investigated. Another witness reported seeing a black Chrysler 300M near the scene of Christopher Jones's death, and even stated a person got out and messed with the body, but then fled before the police arrived. This was not investigated. Another possible suspect comes to light in the statements of Anwan Carter and Ja'Cory Taylor. They both described two other men being present at and participating in the murder of brothers Larry and Maurice. Tyrone Coleman was eventually charged and convicted. However, the other individual was not charged or even questioned. There is a reasonable doubt that Brice Rhodes is guilty. There's no clear motive for Brice to have committed these crimes. The police allege that Brice Rhodes shot and killed Christopher Jones in the presence of Ja'Cory Taylor, Anwan Carter, Larry Ordway, and Maurice Gordon. And then about 3 weeks later, the police think that Brice stabbed Larry and Maurice because Brice was afraid they would go to the police.
Shout this out. Susan just became a Patreon member. Thank you very much, Susan. Appreciate that. You are going to get some awesome content as well. And anybody that got to see like an hour, 2 hours, I put this, which I did end up just giving it away on Twitter, but there's going to be a lot more of that comedy, insane stuff coming. YouTube is going to probably be restricting some of the stuff that we're going to be trying to do. And anything that is restricted or is a little too racy, I'm not even going to put it up on YouTube because I don't want to risk the monetization. Even though technically it's okay, I'm afraid if you push it a little too far, they're going to be like, well, we don't need this, right? So Patreon folks are going to be getting some stuff that even YouTube members can't get because YouTube are a bunch of dickbags. So thank you, Susan.
But the other two who were present are still alive. Anwan Carter and Ja'Cory Taylor were there, and they are still alive. Does this make sense to you? And I would like to talk about those co-defendants. I stabbed him. I stabbed Maurice in his side. I drove on him. I ran him over. Anwan Carter was facing life in prison for his actions against 3 innocent people. He was facing life in prison. And the prosecution said, that's okay. We'll give you probation. But to get the sweetheart offer, you got to give us someone else. Anwan Carter pled guilty to the murders of Christopher Jones, Maurice Gordon, Larry Ordway, and in exchange for that, the prosecution was okay with probation, or maybe a little prison, left it up to the judge, if you testify against Brice Rhodes. Anwan Carter gave a name, the police took it and ran with it. Up to that point, all they had was kids killing other kids. They wanted an adult to stick it to. And here we are. 2 people have already admitted to killing Christopher Jones. Anwan Carter and Ja'Cory Taylor. 3 people have already admitted to killing Larry Ordway and Maurice Gordon. Again, Anwan Carter.
Since 3 people have admitted it, let my guy go. Let's get out of here. We got 3 of them. Shit.
And Ja'Cory Taylor, plus Tyrone Coleman. They have all pled guilty to their murders. So why are we here then? Because in order for those men to get very lenient deals from the government, they agreed to testify against Brice. The evidence will show you all that those responsible for the murders have already been convicted and are now trying to put the blame on Brice Rhodes. There's reasonable doubt that Brice Rhodes is guilty. The evidence will show that the testimony of Anwan Carter and Ja'Cory Taylor, who you will hear from, is not believable. Both of these men are known criminals. In fact, Anwan Carter is currently in prison right now in the state of Florida. Guess what for? Gun charges.
No.
He had a loaded...
That little baby boy. Oh, God. Gun charges. More charges. You fucking idiot, dude. These people are morons. I can't.
So after he got his sweetheart deal here in Kentucky for killing 3 people, he went to the state of Florida, joined a gang, and again got arrested. He changed his...
You know what? Kentucky, fuck... Let's go to Florida and give it a shot.
Statement at least 3 times to the police that I can think of. At first, Mr. Carter even told police, I do not know Brice Rhodes. I've never been in a car with him. However, after having time to consult with Ja'Cory Taylor, a plan was concocted to point the finger at Brice Rhodes. These 2, Taylor and Carter, had a chance to get their stories together. There weren't any suspects initially after the Christopher Jones murder, but about 3 weeks later, Larry and Maurice are killed. Anwan Carter wasn't questioned until about 2 days after that incident. So all of this time, Carter and Taylor had time to get their stories straight, to come up with a plan of how to get themselves out of this. A plan to make themselves look less guilty for murdering their best friends, Larry and Maurice. A plan to blame Brice. Anwan Carter admitted to running over Christopher Jones's body in a pickup truck that he had stolen, that Mr. Carter had stolen. Do you know what kind of vehicle witnesses reported seeing at the scene where Larry and Maurice's bodies were recovered? A pickup truck, not Brice's blue Mazda. Anwan Carter admitted to stabbing his best friend Maurice Gordon. Carter claims to have seen Brice Rhodes shoot Christopher Jones, but the evidence will show that what Anwan Carter in fact saw was a hand out the window shooting a gun. If you recall, Mr. Carter was in the vehicle behind where the shots were fired, the vehicle that the shots were fired from. It was dark outside, and Carter could not see the face of the shooter. Ja'Cory Taylor was in the back seat where the shots were fired and had just bought a gun from the boyfriend of Larry and Maurice's mother. Anwan Carter saw Ja'Cory Taylor buy the gun. There's reasonable doubt that Brice Rhodes is guilty. Ja'Cory Taylor admitted to buying that gun right before the shooting of Christopher Jones. He admitted to getting into an altercation with Maurice Gordon right before Maurice died. He admitted that Maurice Gordon pulled a knife on him. And then he admitted to stabbing Larry. Again, reasonable doubt. At the conclusion of the evidence, you will be asked to make a decision about Brice's fate. You have promised that in order to find anyone guilty, the government has first proven to you that that person is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. If the government has not done that, you all must find him not guilty. I stabbed him. I stabbed Maurice in his side. I drove on him. I ran him over. You all get to decide what is true, who you believe, and what is reliable. Ask you to use your power as jurors to tell the government you are not convinced. Tell them that the evidence is not sufficient, and tell them that we will not wrongfully convict Brice. Thank you.
Before we begin hearing testimony, does anyone want a short break, 5-minute break? 5-minute break, just come back at 3:40.
All rise for the jury.
Wow. Well, the opening from prosecution and the defense is in the books. We do have a couple of witnesses to be called up here as well. What'd you guys think? Did you think that she did a good job? Who do you think did a better job? I think we know a lot. Even before I came in here to do this, I was like, man, how do I come into this? Am I like trying to be a juror? You know, like I don't know anything. I know so much. What I do know is that Gail is fucking unbelievable. Holy shit, Gail. What are you doing, lady? Absolutely amazing. Goodness gracious. You kidding me? Gifting out some more memberships. Let me hit you with all of them. I'm a bad, bad man. You gotta get the money. Heather Honey, Brooklyn, Not That Nikki, City Kitty, Cammy Q, all welcome to being members here at Publicly Buzz. Gifted out by Gail, who is absolutely killing it tonight. Unbelievable. I'll give you a little holly too. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, beers in the chat, guys. Yeah, anytime we get new members, beers, liquor drinks, little probably nothings, throw those things out in the chats. Thank you very much. Karen B, Pokemon, JD, Ember Burns, see ya, Heather Honey, Law Nerd Amber. Get some hell yeahs in there from Mandy, Misty, Dina, hell yeah. Love it, guys. Thank y'all very much, first of all, for even being here and hanging out. As we're going to keep going here, let's scoop on down the road and get back to them calling the first witness here. Take a little bit of a break. Looks like Fuckface is back. Get him. Look at this son of a bitch.
All jurors are present, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Mills.
Perfect.
Everybody's phone back over here. Somebody need to report anything regarding the admonition? Perfect. I know it's very hot in here. You all need to take your coats off, whatever you need to do. So I'm going to try to get a big fan in here for tomorrow, something to get the air moving
Big
around.
fan.
It's just when it's warmer outside, it gets very, very hot in here. All right. Commonwealth, are you ready to proceed?
We are, Your Honor.
You may call your first witness.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth is going to call Officer Thomas Franklin to stand.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, that's a good point. Gail's out here gifting out crazy memberships. I don't even know how to do it, but there's some kind of way that you want to make sure that you're actually able to receive gifted memberships. Someone as kind as Gail out here gifted out memberships is unbelievable. Again, thank you so much. But you want to make sure that you can get one of those bad boys and get to see what we have on the back end on the members only side. But yeah, thanks, Gail. That's awesome. Appreciate that.
Can I have you please raise your right hand? Please have tell the truth and the whole truth. Thank
A
you.
fucking turkey? What the hell was that?
Good afternoon. I can have you please raise your right hand. Please have tell the truth and the whole truth. Thank you. Can I have a seat?
You please raise your right hand. Well, I'm sorry that you sound like a turkey when you talk, but that'd be like a squeaky chair.
Good afternoon. Can you state your name for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Officer Thomas Franklin,
And Officer Franklin, where are you employed?
Louisville Metro Police Department.
How long have you been with the police department?
Roughly 10.5 years.
Too deep. I'm too deep.
And were you with the police department when this case occurred back on the 2nd day of May of 2016?
Yes.
And how did you come to be involved in the case?
At the time, I was a patrol officer in the 1st Division on late watch. And I heard a shot fired while I was at roughly 28 in Broadway. Started going towards, and then was later updated that there was a shooting that had taken place with the victim, and therefore continued that direction.
So you actually heard the gunshot yourself, and then you became aware that
yes, sir.
It was fired. And have you had an opportunity to review your body cam from that evening?
Yes, sir.
And did it fairly and accurately reflect the events as they unfolded?
Yes, sir.
Move to admit and publish officer's body camera.
That's a good question. Yeah, do you think he's going to testify? I guess we'll have to see the deeper it gets. That'll be something.
It's actually going to be Commonwealth 6.
Okay. Thank you. So admitted.
you shot at?
Robert, welcome in here, sir.
Where you shot? Oh, here we go. Right here. Yeah, got it. Hey, buddy, stay with me, all right? What's your name, man? Died, abdomen. One slow back close to the abdomen. He's breathing. He's not conscious or alert right now. Hey, buddy, what's your name? Hey, buddy. What's your name, man? Talk to us. Can you hear me? He's not really responding to anything. Yeah, good. Oh, here we go. Hey, you're good. You're good. You're good. Dog, get still, man. Hey, look, I'll get still. EMS is here. Can you hear my voice? Can you hear me? What's your name? Got a wallet back here. He's moving his arm, but it's not like he was responding to us. It's right underneath this. I don't see an exit one. Yeah, there's one patient over here. No, it's over here by EMS. Don't worry about it. You guys are fine. Yeah, I only see one. Right here underneath my arm. Yep. No, he's not responding to us. He's moving his arm though a little bit. He may have another shot right here. Yep, right there in the arm. Another one. You're fine. This one's a throw through. It looks like it went through this into him. Oh, I got it. You're fine. No, you're good. Today fix right now. You hold down squirt today. I don't know. It went into him. It's stuck in there. No, it went through the arm here into here.
Is that a night you remember pretty well? Safe to say.
Yes, sir.
Can you walk the jury through what you do once you get the call? What steps do you follow?
This one, again, I was...
For the people that can't see the poll is just really a joke. Brice Rhodes, and then I put, I'm not very good at polls. Guilty. More guilty. Right now it's 80% guilty, 20% more guilty.
I was in the parking lot at 28 and Broadway.
Because I'm going to run
actually
to the bathroom
heard
real quick.
the
I'll be
shot
right back.
and
Don't burn her down, please.
started going that direction. At which time it's updated to a shooting with somebody that's been struck. I'm a first division officer that borders the second division. The actual location was in the second division. However, because of short bodies, people already on runs and things of that nature, I decided to continue to go anyways because I had determined based off what dispatch had been saying and other people had been responding, I would still have been closer to help provide aid and continue to go that direction. So I continued going, observed EMS in the area beforehand, and notified radio that they were staging.
And I don't think I asked you, do you remember what time it was that the call came out?
It was after midnight. We work 7 to 7 at that time, I believe, but 12-hour shifts. So it was after midnight, but not too early in the morning.
Said it was 1 minute to 1. Would you believe me?
Yes, sir.
So You pull in, we saw how fast your cruiser was going. You see somebody down. What's the next thing you're doing there at the scene?
Next thing I did is I grabbed a roll gauze, medical supplies from glove box, show up on scene. There was another officer there, and put on PPE, gloves, and then immediately went into trying to address wound, figure out where the wound was. Obviously, this is our victim here that we're attempting to help, and located the abdomen wound, which at the time putting pressure on was the best option. And based off my experience and training and everything that I've encountered up to that point in time in my career. Again, en route, I'd seen EMS, so I knew they were close by, and just take care of the scene as far as making sure that it's safe for them to get there with their higher level of medical expertise.
And may I approach your arm? Showing the witness what's pretty marked exhibits 145. Are you familiar with these photos?
Yes, sir.
And they all fairly and accurately represent what they purport to be?
Yes.
All right. Why don't you walk the jury through what these are photos of? This is Commonwealth's Exhibit 1 to admit and publish on.
Yes. Well, actually, sorry. If I admitted and published, should have checked with you first. I'm sorry. Thank you.
So the first picture was a driver's license. Why is that significant?
It was a driver's license that was in the wallet that was located in Mr. Jones's pocket. He had longer hair that night. Picture.
Picture here of this intersection.
Yeah, the location, roughly close.
And there's a picture of the numbers on this pole. Why is that significant?
I did not take those pictures. We used the numbers on the pole for years. LG&E uses them at specific geographical longitude, latitude locations. We've used them for our traffic accidents when reporting locations for traffic accidents in the past. But again, that picture I did not take. So.
And then this is Commonwealth's Exhibit 5. This is that same pole behind the car. Okay.
I'm sorry. Did you answer?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes, that's the vehicle from where the back bumper for Mr. Jones was at.
Oh, it's just a little bit better. But what is this picture of?
That's the location that we found it.
And there's items that are in the road?
Yes, as from the body camera to render medical aid, some clothing items were cut off, taken off to better allow the medical crew to address the wounds.
And that's what we saw happening in the video?
Yes, sir.
And then I want to show you this final picture here. There are yellow cones, numbered cones on the scene. What's the significance of that?
I did not place those cones. That would probably be a question for a detective. In the past, cones have been used to mark key pieces of evidence or things that they want specifically documented.
Things that you've identified as significant on the scene?
Yes, sir.
And so how long was it from the time that you showed up on the scene to the time that the victim was taken away in an ambulance?
The perception of time in instances like that, it seems like it could take a long time or a short time. Everyone's is different. For me, again, it's documented on the video. I would better reference that video to answer that question.
And then, did you do anything else of significance at the scene?
After I was done helping with aid and EMS was there, at that point in time, as a patrol officer, understanding this is now a crime scene, depending on what has already been done, crime scene tape was already in the process of being put up, at which point I went and people had started to gather and come outside because of the commotion and the lights and the sirens, and therefore just tried to identify anybody that may or may not have been around or seen or heard or anything like that, and try and get information on them to better identify them for a detective to follow up.
Thank you, and please answer any questions for the defense.
Officer Franklin, I believe you told us that you are part of the 1st Division. Does that just refer to the area that you patrol?
Yes.
It's not a ranking or of any sort?
Nope.
Okay. So you're a 1st Division officer on patrol that night?
Yes, that night I was.
Yes. And you testified that you were the 1st officer on scene that night?
One of the first officers on scene. The body camera video will show, again, going from 1st Division to 2nd Division, I'm not as familiar with all the streets. I was able to see another officer in front of me turn down the block, and then that's when the video kicked on, turn down the other block, and then come to the location.
So you were the 1st or maybe the 2nd officer on scene?
I'd say so, yes.
And when you arrived, however, you were not the 1st person on scene?
Correct, yeah.
Because EMS was already there?
Negative. EMS was not there. I would say there were other people, obviously bystanders, I had at one point in time told to go back, sidewalk, and we'll come talk to you.
So when you arrive, EMS is not currently there?
As far as first responders go, I was, as for the video showed, the 2nd officer there.
But there are other people who are not involved in law enforcement or first responders at all, correct?
They were already there as I was approaching.
And when you arrived, let me go back. You testified that you heard a single gunshot?
Yes, I heard a gunshot.
Just one single gunshot?
Yes.
Not 5 gunshots?
I heard a gunshot.
And you found a single bullet casing?
There was a casing near, and because of rendering medical aid, at one point in time it was moved. However, I made a point of it further on in the video to identify that that was it, and we still had it located. Whether I moved it, I bumped into another officer, or EMS did, at that point in time, in our chain of importance, rendering medical attention is more important than that.
So I think you said your first, was it fair to say your first priority in responding is to preserve life, if it's possible to do so? And then the next priority might be preserving the scene?
Yes.
So your first priority when arriving was to render as much aid as you could?
Yes, when it's safe to do so. Again, you have to have the scene safe. Only 2 officers, 1 person, you're kind of delegating, playing off each other as far as tasks. 1 person is security. You still don't know is the individual who shot the area, etc. So going into medical aid, I had the gauze. I remember to grab it as I was getting out of the car.
The casing that was found, that was put into evidence and preserved?
I was not part of that process.
But Brice's fingerprints were not ever found on that shelf, correct?
Excuse me?
Brice's fingerprints were not found on that casing.
I was not part of that process.
I believe you said that after the scene was secure, you interacted with some of the bystanders?
Yes.
To try and see if anyone had seen what had happened?
Yes.
And one of the bystanders was Keith Taylor?
Yes.
And did you speak with him?
I did.
Or not? Any further questions at this time?
Thank you, Ms. Helen.
No further questions.
Thank you. Sir, you can step down. You're free to go. I'm all prepared to call our next witness.
We are, Your Honor. The Commonwealth will call Sergeant Anthony Wilder at this time.
Thank you.
Police officer didn't have a lot to add here. First witness.
Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth and the whole truth?
I did.
Thank you.
Hey, Sergeant. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Can you introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Anthony Wilder, Wilder. I'm currently a sergeant with the Louisville Metro Police Department assigned to the Public Integrity Unit.
And how long have you been with the police department?
Approximately 19 years.
And do you remember what your role was with the police department back in 2016?
From 2010 to August of 2017, I was assigned to the homicide unit.
And where is that what you were doing back on May the 2nd of 2016?
Yes.
Do you remember how you became involved with this case?
I was working in the homicide office, and I was notified by radio that 2nd Division officers were responding to a reported shooting in the 800 block of South 41st Street. It was approximately 1 a.m. I believe it was Wednesday, May 4th, 2016.
And what was your first action that you took once you got to the scene?
Once I was on scene, I made contact with the first officer that responded to the scene, Officer Franklin. Spoke to him about what information he had learned upon his arrival. And then after that, I conducted a neighborhood canvass of the immediate area, spoke with several of the residents, and then I conducted the scene investigation for that location.
So can you explain for people that aren't familiar what goes into a neighborhood canvass?
I went door to door along that block and tried to make contact with residents to see if anybody had witnessed anything or had any information that would help with the investigation. I spoke with several of the residents, but I don't recall any specific information being provided.
And do you memorialize that search in some way?
My activities are documented in an investigative report that's provided to the lead detective and maintained in the case file.
So what do you do on the scene as far as the scene investigation goes? What's your role there?
The crime scene unit was contacted and they responded to the scene, and then they work at the direction of the detective, which in this case was me, conducting the scene investigation, do a walk through the scene and identify items of evidentiary value. And then the crime scene unit will do a series of photographs and video to document the scene location, and then they'll collect the evidence for preservation.
I'm now going to show the witness Commonwealth Exhibits 7 through 19. Take a look at these photos and see if they're familiar to you.
These are some of the photographs taken during the scene investigation. They show typically there'll be 3 sets of photographs taken. The first set is an overall scene, and it shows the scene as it's found. The second set, markers are placed down. They're usually like a plastic type of cone with numbers. and those are placed next to items of evidence. And then another set of photographs is taken, and then a third set is taken where the evidence is it's a close-up of the evidence.
Why is that done?
It's just for documentation and to be able to show perspective of one piece of evidence to the other.
Okay, and we'll just go through these photos real quick. Start with this first one, and I'll go ahead and move to publish these as we go.
This one is marked Exhibit 7. It is one of the first overall photos.
And that's
it's showing the scene and items of clothing that were eventually collected.
And this is 8.
Yes, this is just showing from a different angle the clothing.
Same 9, 10.
Yes, these are just showing different angles and perspectives of the scene during the first set of photographs with no markers.
All right. What about 11?
Markers in this photograph have been placed to help identify the items of evidence.
And 12?
It's the same. It's just showing a different angle.
And take a look at 13 through 19 together. What is this?
These will be, it'll show a close-up of the marker and the item of evidence associated with that marker. So for marker number 1, I believe that's a pair of dark-colored jeans.
And picture 14, marker 2.
Marker 2 is a shell casing.
Marker 3.
Marker 3 is a kind of a plastic wristband.
4
is a Cricket cell phone. There's several pieces of clothing in 5. I believe there's a jacket, some white and red T-shirt, and then a cigarette butt.
And 6.
It's a red and black hat with a U of L Cardinal logo on it.
Now, were you the lead on this scene?
I was not.
So what do you do once you gather all the information and help identify what the significant evidence might be?
Once I had completed these activities, I document what I did and my findings into an investigative report. And then as the case would progress, any further assistance that's asked of me by the lead detective or as the investigation develops, I would provide further assistance and then document those activities in separate investigative reports.
And 41st Street is the address of this incident was in Jefferson County, is that correct?
It was in the 800 block of South 41st Street, and that is in Jefferson.
Detective, you were the first member of the homicide unit on scene, correct?
I was.
Or you weren't the lead detective?
I was not.
And you arrived on scene about 15 minutes after the call came in?
Approximately.
So you didn't witness the shooting?
I did not.
And you arrived 15 minutes after?
After the initial 911 call. By the time I got there, the victim had been transported to the hospital and was not on scene.
So when you arrived, you never once put eyes on the victim in this case?
That's correct.
And you testified that you conducted a neighborhood canvass?
Yes.
You attempted to or spoke to a number of folks who were in the area?
Correct.
But there were no eyewitnesses to this event?
I did not identify any during my neighborhood canvass.
One of the individuals that you did interview was Keith Taylor?
Yes, I believe he was one of the first 911 callers that reported the incident.
There was another report that night of someone riding around in a bicycle carrying a gun, correct?
Officer Hendricks from the 2nd Division, he was the first officer from the 2nd Division to arrive on scene. And he did advise me that there had been a report prior to that 911 call of an individual reported to be riding around on a bicycle with a gun. I can't remember the address he gave or the location, and I don't remember how far the 800 block of 41st Street is and the location he provided. I'd have to refresh my memory with a review of my investigative letter for the location that Officer Hendricks provided for the bicyclist.
But you didn't locate this individual riding a bicycle and waving a gun?
I did not.
And there was another report of another vehicle, a Chrysler 300 on scene that night, correct?
Mr. Taylor advised from speaking with him, I learned that when he had stopped his car as he pulled up on the victim in the street, there was another car that pulled up with him. Both individuals exited their vehicle, saw the victim. Mr. Taylor called 911 and remained on scene. The driver of the other vehicle got back in his car and drove away.
And the other individual drove away in his car before the police arrived, correct?
That's my understanding from speaking with Mr. Taylor.
No more questions. Yeah. Here we go.
Taylor had said that he and Chrysler both loved the correct?
Correct.
I think I misquoted the date on this. It actually occurred on the 4th. It was late at night on the 3rd into the early morning of the 4th.
I believe the call came in at 1 a.m. on Wednesday, May 4th, 2016.
Thank you. No further questions.
Mr. Cunningham, just did the same to the first witness to the date.
Any recalls?
Detective, were you the officer who recovered the shell casing?
I was on scene. It was collected by the crime scene unit.
Was it collected while you were present?
That's correct.
And where was it located?
There was a green Camaro parked on I believe it's on the west side of the street facing south, and the shell casing was near the driver's side rear tire, which would be facing the street side.
And this casing would have been placed into evidence?
It is.
And Mr. Rhodes' fingerprints were not found on this casing, correct?
I wouldn't know about that.
No more questions.
All right, you're free to go. Thank you. Another witness call?
Will you approach your honor?
Yeah, he doesn't seem to like the defense's questions at all. Oh, God, the water.
We are expecting to finish before 5 today, but right now we're going to take another 5-minute break if anybody needs to stretch the legs, use the restroom.
Yeah, he's decided to talk to his defense now all of a sudden. So yeah, let's get through here. We ain't got much left to go. We'll get him back in here. Yeah, he was even like joking around right here. And smiling around. Right here, look at this. Motherfucker, what is happening here? What are we doing? It doesn't look the same as those videos we saw, does he? Did he get that scared by the shock cuff? Disgusting. Here, I made a tweet about this earlier. Here's the judge canceling her evening plans so she can watch old Brice Rambo, I named myself Rhodes, squirm in his chair a little bit after 5. All right, so it's going to pick back up here as they bring in a third witness. Now this stream cuts off pretty much right now. There's not much left here. This did go on a little bit more. The only other stream out there that was available is from Law and Crime, and they put it as private. So right now, this is what we got. Not a lot of action yet, but yeah, you know, I'll continue to cover this as I actually can. Doing recaps and actually watching some trial footage.
Do I need to report anything? Commonwealth will call their next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. The Commonwealth is going to call Detective Brian thru.
There we go.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Raise your right hand, please. Swear to tell the truth and the whole truth. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Detective. Can you introduce yourself to the jury?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Brian Griffin.
And how long were you with the homicide unit for?
I was with the homicide unit for about 2 years. Employed at that time for 5 years, I believe.
And what do you do these days?
I'm a commercial real estate appraiser.
So, back in 2016, May the 4th, you were with homicide then?
I was.
And were you called to the scene in this case?
I was.
What was the first action you took when you arrived on the scene?
So when I arrived on scene, it was about 1:30 in the morning. Detective Wilder had already made his way to the scene and had started that scene investigation. When I arrived on scene, the victim had already been transported to University of Louisville Hospital. So at that point, we were conducting the scene investigation. So my first actions when I got on scene was to see what we had and then to start the neighborhood canvass.
Okay. And did anything interesting come about as a result of your neighborhood canvass?
For my part of the canvass, I was unable to locate any witnesses along in the 800 block of South 41st Street. I was canvassing house to house. I had no answers on doors. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. So on my side, the houses that I knocked on, front doors, I was not able to talk to anybody.
And do you recall a report of a guy that had a gun that was on a bicycle?
There was a report of that. I didn't have any further information on that. I was unable
Really trying to pin it on this random guy on a bike with a gun that might not even exist.
Was there any statements from anybody that he was in any way involved in this?
I didn't have any statements to that effect. No.
And can you tell us a little bit about the character of this neighborhood? Is it residential? What?
So the 800 block South 41st Street where this occurred is a residential neighborhood south of Broadway in the west end of Louisville. It's predominantly a residential neighborhood. There's people out. Just depends on what time of day, but there are people out at all times of day. So someone on a bike is not out of place.
And no one said that someone on a bike was at this scene or even on the street.
That's correct.
Okay. So, did you go out to the hospital that night?
I did. Once we completed our scene investigation, I went to University of Louisville Hospital.
All right. May I approach with Commonwealth's?
Right. You'll see them.
No objection, Judge.
Is this photograph familiar to you?
Yeah.
And what is this photograph of?
All right, that just cuts off. My live is literally on here. I can go and watch myself live right now. Woo! That's really strange. Yeah, I don't know why Wave, the local town fucking news station covering this, can't figure that the hell out. They'll probably copyright me also. We'll see. Yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. What an awesome fucking stream. What a crazy one. Went in on it. Kaylin, can you send me what the hell you're talking about? I've crammed my brain. Like, I've just been cramming this story and preparing all this stuff. Like, Holly Berry, again, thank you so much for tweeting this. I've went down the rabbit hole, as they say. No Nan by Trick Daddy with Trina. Like, it's her song? Like, that's a song she needs? Yeah, send that to me. Message me which one that is. Little Michael Phelps vibe there, Heather Honey. Whoa, Bob's coming through here. What's up, dude? How you doing, man? Dude, I went in on this shit tonight, bro. This one's crazy. Ah, dude, we're just now coming to an end. I started at 8 tonight. I started early, actually. But yeah. Yeah, well, a little bit of a boring football commentator vibe, for sure. Well, I don't know about the tuna. The tuna and milk conversation is very alarming in the chat, per the usual. Yeah, this thing is crazy. I want to see the dude get shocked. I hope that we see the shock cuff come into play, and which I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen, honestly. I really don't. Why's my thing completely out of whack here? I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's in line now because of the warning by the judge, and now he's scared. You don't want to look like a bitch in front of everybody, right? That's his whole thing. He wants to rule the room, control the room. Son of a bitch. Can we at least get him in the fucking? Can we at least get him in the spit mask? Can we at least get the spit mask back? Look at this guy. Looking all Hannibal Lecterous out here. Not a good dude. Not a good dude. Again, death penalty off the table. IQ of 73. Intellectually disabled, but competent enough to stand trial. We're going to continue to rock and roll on this thing. Again, in the evenings, I'm going to see what I can do. Of course, I work a regular job, so I probably won't be able to just do this every single evening. I have my regular show still that I don't want to completely, not do. I'd like to, Thursday shows are amazing. My Thursday shows have become one of my favorite shows, with the clips, with the stories, in rapid fire execution, in succession. It's fun as hell. But yeah, I'm going to try to at least watch. I'm definitely going to watch it and take notes, and we can do some recaps and see what's going on. And make sure that you guys stay up. Follow me on Twitter, first of all, for sure. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on YouTube, follow me on Facebook, whatever. Facebook fucking sucks. I get no traction on there whatsoever. But on the community, I'm always posting updates, and on Twitter, I'll go real hard with updates. Always posting graphs and graphics and stuff, and check it out. Make sure you're following. I don't know if the Twitter thing, I'm sure it's popped up there. Look in the chat here, what's going on. Yeah. Yeah, send me whatever we're talking about here. Amber. Yeah, I want to see a shock. I want to see a shock. I don't want to hear just my effects. I want to see the man get shocked. Okay, I've been tagged on the tweet machine. Oh yeah, no, I remember this. I do remember this. Yeah, I remember this whole thing. Oh yeah, you didn't answer me. I said which part. Oh yeah, you said you did answer me. How about spend the grands that I spend? Oh yeah, you did answer me. I remember all of this. I apologize. I totally remember that. I love you, Kaylin. I got a Kaylin emoji. If you didn't know, right there it is. Boom! Look at that thing. Look at that bad boy. Yeah, I do remember that. It's totally ringing bells now. Bob loves the Twitter. Well, it could. That's true. We don't want to go too far, or do we? Yeah, it's been a night. It's been a night. I think it said 73. His IQ is 73. That's what they're saying. Which I don't know how you can like properly gauge that because he's so combative. You know he's not taking anything serious. Who freaking knows? Honestly. Yeah, get the Kaylin emojis up there. Get the Kaylin emojis up there. You guys are amazing. You guys are freaking unbelievable. Get this dirtbag off my face. I didn't realize that was still there. I was looking at the chat. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Get your Murder Church beanies. Publiclybuzz.com. Become a Patreon. New members, thank you very much. Love you guys. Follow on Twitter. Follow on YouTube. Thursday night. Hell, tomorrow night. I'll probably come on here tomorrow night with an update on this shit. So make sure all bells are turned on. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but on Twitter, you can turn on notifications. You probably did know this. I just figured this out, but if you go in here, we use Kaylin as an example. You see this right here? Make sure that that's turned on. You want to see that check in there. The bell, you want to see the check in there because, first of all, I get crazy on Twitter, but also tons of information. If I'm into something, the information is going to flow like wine. So make sure you're following on Twitter for sure. Let me get you this in here. Boom. Yes, that's right. Receipt Queen. That's what they call her. She's coming through. You don't want to fuck with Kaylin on there. I'm telling you right now. She will come after you. It won't be good. Heather Honey. Love it. Oh yeah, you did answer me. And wait a minute, we had this poll here. Brice Rhodes. I'm not very good at the polls. Guilty, more guilty. Guilty wins 65%. Okay. Say no to globalism.
This is gun country.
Love you guys. I'm sure everybody in here is following Bob. We need to get Bob back on here and hang out, man. I still want to do the movie with Bob, Jay, and Dan. We got to get that figured out. I think that'd be dope. Since yesterday, good Lord. Can you ring my bell? My bell. I'm not sure. I'll ring a bell. I've got a bell to ring. You know I've got a bell. I've got a church bell. And I've got the bell. Murder Churches started early. Holy shit, when the bells go, I can't stop them. Welcome to Dr. Kevorkian, week 4. We're going to roll right into it here. We'll go to about 3 in the morning. No, okay. It's getting out of control here. Those are my favorite polls because I don't have to make any decisions. Yeah. As you can tell, if there's new folks lurking because of the story, welcome. Thank you very much. I'm going to continue to follow it. I will see you Thursday, guys. Love you guys. Have a good evening. Have a good Wednesday. Let's do it. Halfway through the week. Let's kick its ass. Bada boom.
See, we shoot them up bang bang over here. We not scared of they motherfucking ass.